Hello and welcome to the Peeps Gotta Peep show, the PeePcast.
The PeePcast.
Still getting used to it. I'm Jarrod Hurdle, and with me I have Sam Porter.
Hello, hello. It is the one and only Sam Porter.
Only.
I'm not probably the one and only. There's probably plenty of Sam Porters around.
Yes. I can think of one.
Where?
In the video game Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies. But let's not get into that.
Okay, fair.
One question I did want to ask you, I just want to get straight into it. You've done some study of law, and I'm just wondering what kind of courtroom stuff you've seen. I think there's probably some stuff that's happened there.
Yeah, well, look, let's just put it here. Study is probably a bit of an overreach.
Overstatement?
So back in... We'll start the story here. Back in high school, I did a bit of commerce. More of an introductory to business studies and things like that. Now, I love that.
I was with you for that.
You were. Now, I love that class. Good class, quite a broad spectrum. Now, for one of the, more or less from an excursion, we were sent to the city to go sit in on, district court, I believe it was. Now, It's been a while. I'm not 100% versed on my courts, but it would have probably been the district court. Yeah. Don't quote me on that. So we sat in, and then this was two classes, so we were split in half. No, we weren't split in half on classes. We split just almost down the middle. Yeah. So we were 14, 15, so we were quite young. The one I was split in, we went and sat down in the courtroom. It's pretty serious. Like, everyone was looking full on. Judge was there. People were there. Didn't really know what was going on. Wasn't the best student in the world. So we sat down... And then basically, the court was already underway. Yeah. So now this is a while ago. I'm 20 now, almost 21. So this was, 6 years ago? Yeah. One of the strongest memories I have is we were sitting down and they brought a guy up on the stand. Now, he was in the classic green trackies, which is, if anyone doesn't know, the green trackies are what most of the... prisoners in Australia will wear. Well, in New South Wales anyway. They wear basically green tracksuit pants and a green jumper, like a throwover kind of thing.
I had no idea.
Yep. So that's what most of them will wear. I don't know if that levels what type of jail they're in, but that's what a lot of them wear. Yeah, okay. So this guy comes up on the stand. They start questioning him. Kind of mundane stuff. Where were you here? Where were you there? Yeah. Nothing interesting. I'm zoning out already, being a 14-year-old. So then they start really getting into the details of the incident, which just to give you some pretext, we had no idea what we're walking into. It was basically just open court, go in, see what happens.
Yeah, it could be anything.
Exactly. So we walk in and they start talking about this dude basically had been part of this drug dealing ring, and another guy had been dealing drugs or whatever, and they were rivals, more or less.
Yeah, okay.
So without getting too gruesome, basically this guy had orchestrated an attack on another drug dealer to steal his drugs and money.
Wow.
And so him and a bunch of other guys had stood at the front of this dude's house, handed out various weapons, machetes, meat cleavers, and they'd all gone in and attacked this guy. Yeah. So as a 14-year-old in a class of other 14-year-olds with a good bunch of friends, we're going, oh my
serious
God.
Stuff. It was probably really exciting for a 14-year-old.
100%. We were going, no way. This is like, we'd been told repeatedly from our parents and whatever, it's going to be boring, yada, yada, yada. Like, you're going to hear about whatever. I'm going, oh, damn, this is like...
You guys lucked out.
You couldn't have landed on a more interesting case. Yeah. So this dude's in the stand, getting questioned, and basically they'd handed out all these drugs to about 4 or 5 guys, and they'd all gone into this guy's house, attacked him, didn't end amazingly for the drug dealer, and they'd stolen his drugs and stolen his money. Yeah. Anyway, so this dude had been kind of hacked up and whatever.
Hacked up?
Hacked up. Like full on.
With a machete?
This is some like gangland stuff you'd see on HBO. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
totally. It sounds like entertainment.
Yeah. So I'm going, oh my God, like this is full on. Yeah. This dude's a hardcore criminal. This would have been later in the year, probably near the end of the year, November probably. Yeah. And so this guy had been in prison since February. So he hadn't been convicted yet, but he'd been in prison since February.
Wow. It just took that long to see it.
Like this dude had been in the system for a while. Yeah. So then I just remember that specifically. And then like out of the blue while they're questioning this guy, this woman stands up. She's probably like short, in her mid-30s, early 40s, and she stands up and she screams, like, F you, I can't believe you did this. And everyone, like, stares at her.
The partner of the dead drug dealer?
Well, that's exactly who she was. She's a partner of... Well, he wasn't dead. He was
wrecked.
Pretty bad.
With a machete?
Well, with a various assortment of meat cleavers, machetes, knives.
They all had different...
They just all had whatever sharp instruments they could find.
Wowza.
So this dude had been hacked up pretty bad. And this woman in court, it was like from a movie. Like, you couldn't get this more specific. So I'm going, what the hell is going on? This woman stands up. She starts, she's crying. She's bawling her eyes out. She's pointing, screaming, going, rah, 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 screaming at this kid. Of course, like, she gets escorted out. And we're going, what the hell? What the hell's going on? We're all on our toes. We're going, oh my God. 5 minutes more of mundane questioning go on. And then it gets brought up that the fact that this dude 3 days ago in the same courtroom had brought up, so apparently he had someone who he worked with came into the courtroom, like when I say worked with, dealt drugs with, came into the courtroom, sat at the back of the courtroom and made a cutthroat gesture, so, finger across the throat, to him on the stand to kill him. Now, well, I mean, this isn't a smart gesture when you're in a courtroom full of... So he got arrested, the guy who threatened to kill the guy on the stand. Yeah. And so we're hearing about this going, like, what is going on in this courtroom? So we sat there probably like 45 minutes, like, sat through this. We're all a little... Probably, there's a few people who are kind of shocked, Yeah, 14-year-old, pretty rocked.
All the goody two-shoes kids, I imagine.
Yeah.
Had their world rocked to that day.
100%. So we come out, kind of thing wraps up, whatever, they take a break. The teacher pulls us out. We reconvene with the other group and they're like, oh, did you guys have fun? And we're like, you wouldn't believe the stuff we saw. This is like a courtroom drama. Apparently all they saw
Better than Judge Judy is what it sounds like.
Look, don't get me wrong. I love Judge Judy. I can talk about Judge Judy.
You love Judge Judy?
Look, I can talk about Judge Judy for 20 minutes.
Do you still currently watch Judge Judy?
No, I don't. Well, at work, if they leave the TV on at work, Judge Judy as daytime TV starts playing. And random fact, Judge Judy is actually the highest paid TV person. She's on like 40 million a year.
40 million?
Yeah.
So that's more than Charlie Sheen was getting on 2.5 Men?
Currently, I should say.
Currently.
But yeah, she's in the money. Did you know Judge Judy? So she was a judge, yeah?
I guess it's such an established brand that they just couldn't bear to lose her, right?
Well, what they do on Judge Judy is the producers basically they just have a look at the
cases.
Upcoming cases. Yeah. Anything that looks interesting, they basically pay them both what they could be paid. Mm-hmm. Bring them on, go, hey, withdraw your case from the official courts. We'll fly you to LA. We'll put you on the show.
Do it in a fake court.
You're both going to get paid. And then Judge Judy will make an official ruling. When I say official ruling, it's obviously not official by any means.
So is it kind of irrelevant?
100%.
Like when she goes, you owe $30,000 to this guy, they don't have to pay that.
No. They both of them are getting paid to appear on the show.
It's literally made up.
Yep.
Because I always watched that as a kid and just thought, well, this is an actual court.
Well, she was an official judge for a little while, but then they kind of just brought the show, and the show has been running for however many years?
Yeah, I think 10 years. I was watching it with my Nana on Christmas Day because she likes to lie down on the couch and watch TV. So, I was actually walking around the house trying to find my brother who had just wandered off, I suppose. And my Nana goes, oh, Jarrod, sit down and watch Judge Judy. And I was like, for a second, I was like, oh. And I was like, all right, how often do I see my Nana? It's Christmas Day. So I sat down and watched Judge Judy with her. It's not that bad.
It isn't. If you can lower yourself to that level of petty squabbling and find the entertainment in that, it always...
But I think it's ruined now. Really? The drama of it. So when she says that you have to give the defendant $30,000...
Oh, you mean I ruined it for you?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
And then they don't have to give them the money.
I guess I was more surprised...
whatever she says doesn't take place in real life.
But I think it more came down to the fact that it's real. There's a real incidence. You know what I mean? These actually happened.
Yeah, but the ruling's not real.
I was more interested in the dodgy squabbling between the two people.
But you kind of find that out. You kind of find that out at the start of the show, and then sort of on top of that, these people are just kind of acting, and they're just kind of acting like they care about Judge Judy's ruling.
Yeah, from what I read, now, I'll probably mention Reddit a few times. So I read an AMA, which stands for Ask Me Anything. So kind of a quick backstory. Ask Me Anything.
Of Judge Judy?
No, of a contestant.
Okay.
I should say, not a contestant. That sounds like a game show.
Yeah.
But this person went on Judge Judy and they whatever.
Sure.
But like you're told apparently to pretend like it's real. Like this is like authentic.
So Judge Judy is a lie.
Is it?
Yeah. Because it's so like made out to be that her ruling is final. And yeah.
I guess I never believe any reality TV.
I watched it as a kid. So
Yeah.
I haven't thought about Judge Judy for about 10 years. So to sort of come back to the subject and suddenly realize that it's fake.
Yeah. I don't know. I find it more interesting to know a little bit of the backstory. Like these people get flown out to LA, whatever, get paid to do all this kind of stuff. And
did you finish your story about the...
Well, I kind of wrapped it up
dealer?
pretty much. Anyway, so we all convened back outside the courtroom. And everyone, the other class, their court was about like some guy got caught with a knife going into Penrith Panthers. And so they just watched this dude get questioned about where he was on the day. And they were all obviously over it.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh my God, can you guys believe what we saw? And kind of a side note, that day was really awesome because we were in year 9, which is like not even 13. I was probably 13 at the time.
Yeah.
And our teachers were like, we're in the middle of the city, middle of Sydney. They're like, all right, come back in an hour.
Wow.
So us as kids were like, yeah, let's get to roam around the city.
That has to be like illegal.
These days, 100%.
But it was illegal then. They have duty of care. The amount of times I got lectured about duty of care.
Right.
Because I went home from school early or something. And they let you wander around the city. Did you say 2 hours?
I think, I can't really remember. It's got to be like, it was over an hour.
They let 13-year-olds roam around
Sydney. 13, 14-year-olds. Oh, okay. Look, 14-year-olds. Let's call it 14-year-olds. Not that it really matters, but we just roamed around CBD for like an hour.
That's nuts. What did you do?
What a 14-year-olds think is really cool.
Did you go to the arcade?
15. No, we just bought terrible food and wandered around.
You didn't know. Well, I guess at that age you don't know the good places.
Yeah, we just wandered around. It was cool at the time. Like now, as an adult, wandering around the cities is whatever.
Well, we've done it so much at this point.
100%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the time, it was like, this is the coolest, I think there was like 4 of us. We just wandered around, bought terrible food, and enjoyed our freedom of the city. Like, this is the first time we've been let off the leash,
Totally. Any other interesting cases, or was that the only one?
Well, on that note, so like you said, I've done a little bit of law stuff. And so I did a bit of time in uni. And we had a law class, Australian law or whatever it was called. I couldn't remember now.
Totally.
So
try not to mess with the microphone.
He needs to police me. He needs to police me because it's a bit of a habit.
It sounds bad.
It's a habit.
It's like this constant rumble in the background.
I feel like I'm Freddie Mercury. I've got to grab the mic.
As much as you're trying to grow a moustache, you're not Freddie Mercury.
One day, all right? Don't shoot me down. I'll be Freddie Mercury in about 2 to 3 months.
I don't see it in your future.
I just need an overbite and a stronger
I don't
mustache.
think he had an overbite. Didn't he just have a tooth gap?
No, he had big teeth at the front.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I think he just has that big gap. They might be big as well.
I have no idea. Anyway, so one of our assignments was to go to a courtroom and write down notes.
Okay.
This one's nowhere near as interesting, so I'll kind of
Was it really that vague? Like, just write down notes?
And then write a 2,000-word essay on what you saw, standard uni stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, we went to the Parramatta courts.
Yeah.
And this dude had been caught doing he'd been lost his license prior in the sense that he'd caught speeding or whatever, and then he had come back caught driving without a license.
Yeah.
He'd gone to the courts in the sense that I need my license so I can go to my plumbing job. The judge let him off.
Yep.
Can you believe that?
That happens.
I was just shocked.
Hang on, what had he done?
He'd been caught driving without a license and speeding at the same time.
That's pretty bad.
He didn't get anything.
The combination.
He didn't get anything.
Just because he needs to drive and he's a plumber.
Mate.
I mean, sometimes you just get a good judge.
Yeah. And this dude was wearing like jeans, a really ill-fitting collared shirt, and sneakers.
And got out of it.
Can you believe that?
I've had one court experience.
Yeah, please fill us in.
Well,
I like this story.
Basically, it was New Year's Eve, so it's quite fitting. We've got New Year's Eve just coming up. I think 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. And I was driving out to my mate's place in Wollongong where they were having a party. And I got to Penrith and I had my Daft Punk blaring. I was having a great time.
Best driving music, of course.
Suddenly, bam, my rear left tire explodes and my car just starts swerving around all over the place. Like doing 360s in front of 2 lanes of traffic in a 110 zone. So I'm, pretty worried at that point. But luckily, everyone stopped. And like, I'm swerving around. I felt like James Bond in this thing. Like, I'm going down gears. I'm like trying to swerve. Like, I thought I was going to go into oncoming traffic. I thought, I was done. I was like, this is it. This is, how people die. And I managed to not go into oncoming traffic. I just managed to swerve around like a madman in front of my own 2 lanes and stop. And by some miracle, everyone was just stopped in front of me, and I was facing them with my jaw on the ground.
Can you believe that, though? Like, that's a story that you hear so many times and go, and then the guy died. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
That's not something that, I don't know, I mean, that's something that's just, you're so lucky, you kind of just...
I got angels watching me from the other
100%.
side.
Is one of those angels Freddie Mercury, by any chance?
I hope so.
100%.
And so I'm looking into the eyes of these other people whose jaws are also on the ground. And it's just this weird thing of these people I have never met and don't know at all. And we've shared this moment and we're just like, wow, I'm so lucky to be alive. So I just put the car back into first gear, took my handbrake off and just slowly drove over.
Like you're an L-plater, bro. Like you're an L-plater, you're like, all right, first gear, slowly let off the clutch.
Pretty much, I was like, okay, I can do this. I can still
get
this car off the road so people can keep going. And then funnily enough, this couple pulled over and they were like, oh man, that was crazy. Yeah, we saw it all happening. So we put our hazard lights on and everyone slowed down. And I was like, wow, that's how everyone managed to stop. Because like, I don't know.
These are your angels, this couple. These are your angels.
Coming down this hill into Penrith, doing 110, and everyone managed to stop. And I was just like, oh, thank you so much. They changed the tire for me.
Wow.
They put the space saver on for me.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Like, oh, where are you from? Wentworth Falls, which is where I grew up. I don't know if that's probably relevant to most listeners on the radio.
We both grew up in Wentworth Falls.
Yeah. And I'd never met them before. And they were just like, yeah, wonderful
awesome.
people
That's
that changed my
awesome.
tire for me. And then
that restores faith in humanity almost, right? Like that's the kind of thing
Totally.
you go like, these people are awesome.
I'm used to seeing, someone that's not getting helped and like, I'm thinking, oh, I'm probably not the best person to help them.
You're like, yeah, someone else will do it,
Someone better than me. Like last time I had a flat tire, I did actually have some old dude come out and help me. Like I'm probably not the person that's going to help someone else. As emasculating as it is, generally the person that gets helped. I'm sure I could change a tire on my own now.
Yeah, so did this experience teach you how to change a tire?
No, because I was standing there. I think I was talking to the girlfriend. And the boyfriend was putting the tire on, and I was just like, oh, I can't believe that just happened.
Like you've got adrenaline pumping through your veins.
And we talked about it for a while. Like they got the wheel on.
When we're talking, how long are we talking?
I think from the incident to when they drove off, maybe half an hour.
Oof.
Just on the side of the road. And they were like, are you sure you're okay to drive? Like, you're sure?
That's awesome. I can't, like, that's awesome from them, hey.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Like, I was blown away.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm totally good to drive. Like, I'm not phased at all.
Tough man.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought, right?
Well, that's
because I
adrenaline.
handled it really well in the moment.
You're like Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious 3. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, exactly that.
So I got back into my car, and, waited for a break in the traffic, took off. And then I guess somewhere in Campbelltown, I went through a red light. And I don't remember it happening. Like, I don't even remember the red light.
Yeah.
I just got this letter weeks later just saying you went through it. Well, my mum actually got it. And it's like, she's like, why,
Yeah, Jarrod, why you
going through red lights? And I'm like, I don't remember that. But, And then, her boyfriend told me about how, he had his first incident where he went through a red light because, the green arrow came on. And I guess he was so keen to go, he just saw green and went.
Right.
And because that was his first incident.
I cannot believe he... Wait, sorry to interrupt.
It's called a Section 10.
Yeah.
And if they think you're legit and you're really nice about it, you just get clean off.
With a good behaviour bond.
That first offence.
Section 10?
Good behaviour bond.
Section 10 has a good behaviour bond.
I don't know about that.
Okay. I've never got one, but I believe a Section 10 has a good behaviour bond involved.
And what does that mean?
Well, look, this is a non-legal professional who's talked to a few people who have gotten on the wrong side of the law and have gotten off with a Section 10, which involves a no record, no nothing, except a good behaviour bond with heavier repercussions if you are a repeat offender.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
She might have, the judge might have said something
Right.
like that, but I don't remember that part of it. I just remember feeling like, wow, I
Well,
got
no,
off clean.
yeah.
But I totally, I got in my suit. I had photos of the tire
You did
that
it
had
seriously.
exploded.
Of course.
Photos. And I got the photo from the red light camera that showed that the car had this tiny space saver on it. So it was like, well, clearly, this happened right after. You kind of have to take my word, but here's some, I think they called it subjective evidence. So I showed them that and I was just very, yes, Your Honor. I thought I was okay, but I should have realized that I would be traumatized by that experience.
Yeah.
I probably said traumatized like 10 times.
It's a key word, right?
It works.
It's a working word,
works.
100%.
And, I was the only one in a suit.
Nice.
Literally everyone there had a rat's tail, track pants, thongs.
Nice. But that just shows you take it seriously. Like that is just a winning,
And I was there all day, and every person was getting their sentence increased, their fine increased. Yeah. Everyone was getting destroyed. And I turned to my mom's boyfriend, and I was like, "Oh man,
I'm done.
And he goes, "Dude, you're screwed." Like,
no faith.
And he was the one telling me that like I totally get off. Like, don't worry about it. He turned to me. He's like, "The judge I had was really nice. Like, she's mad. You will get
the devil incarnate.
You like." You're done, man. Yeah. Like my one moral support person was just nut. So I was like, okay, better make this count. And it turned out good.
That's good, man. I mean, look, I'm assuming, obviously, but this judge probably sees a million dudes who are like, oh, come on, mate. Just...
Well, that's what we saw all day. Guys being like, oh, it's not even that bad. Like there was a guy that was in trouble so he went while the light was green, but all the traffic was backed up.
Yeah.
So he pretty much knew that he just blocked the intersection.
Right.
So they had like multiple photos of him just sitting in the intersection for a long time.
Just
people trying to drive around. And he was just like, oh, come on. It was green. It was green when I went through. How can that be my fault? And she's like, clearly it's up to your discretion that if there isn't space for you on the other side of the road, that you do not go through the intersection. He's like,
there's no
come
common
on.
Sense. Come
it
on,
was green.
Come on, then. Come on. You don't believe me?
I can represent myself. Come on.
But like I see it. So I work in Parramatta. So there's a quite a common court, Parramatta, West Sydney. A lot of crime in West Sydney. It's one of the most common popular. I shouldn't use the word, but busy courts is the Parramatta Court.
Okay.
Right around the corner from where I work, I often go for a walk at lunch, and I just see these dudes who have clearly gone to court, and they're walking with their bloody manila folder, and they're in TNs. Like they're just like, 3 o'clock got court, 5 o'clock got the pub. Like,
do you think that is they go to court so often?
Probably. This is a fourth or fifth round. The judge knows them by name.
We had a few where the judge knew them by name.
Of course.
Like, Roger, come on.
Come on, man.
I don't want to see you here next week.
I let you off for smacking that dude, and now you're running reds. What are you doing?
But speaking of repeat offenders, I on Christmas Eve,
here we go,
of all times, had a lovely Christmas lunch. Had a couple champagnes at lunch, but waited till like 9 o'clock at night to leave my mum's place.
You're plenty.
100%.
Yeah.
Drove home, literally got home and like almost parked out the front, but was like, man, I don't want to just go inside, race cars in video games.
Yeah, and you'd been playing Forza, for anyone listening, is a very popular racing series.
But I don't want to promote the idea that, video games encourage...
Not at all.
Misconduct on the road. But anyway, my attitude was just like, I don't want to go inside and play video games and just go to sleep. Like, my mind's racing. I'm in the mood. So like, I'll just go for a little bit of a drive. And I drove a little bit around Katoomba, you know, and just went into some dirt roads, did some off-roading rally car.
Well, you do drive an all-wheel drive in Preza, which is inspired rally car. So you got the pedigree there.
Totally. And she went all right. But then I was like, oh, no, I want to drive around a bit on some sealed road.
Fast and Furious, you know?
Yeah, and like, I didn't really want to speed or anything. I didn't have any intention of doing anything wrong, but I was driving. I decided to drive to Medlow Bath just because I know those streets and just for the sake of driving. So I'm like, okay, I'll drive to Medlow Bath, and I'm driving along the highway, and I've got my music pumping. Oh no, leave them off. And I play Night Call by Kavinsky.
Very, very cool song. If anyone's seen the movie Drive, that is the... Drive, is that what it's called?
It's definitely Drive, yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling.
That's the soundtrack to that song.
And so, you know, I'm driving up this hill, and I know the road. It's like I've driven up this hill a million times. It's like 12 o'clock at night or something. I don't actually remember. And I'm just like, yeah, there's no one on the road. So I drive up this hill at 94, I think, and it's a 70 zone. And then as soon as I get up this hill, I see the glint of this car's wheel in this spot where I've seen cops sitting before, and I'm just like, oh,
yeah,
all right. And the lights come on, and he pulls out behind me, and I pull over, and he comes over, and he's like, mate, the reason why I pulled you over is because you speed, and you know, it's all the typical stuff. And I was just like, yeah, no, I did the wrong thing. I know. I shouldn't. Like, why? It's a 70 zone. Why?
Right.
It wasn't even thinking. It's like I wasn't thinking about my speed, which is just stupid.
The fallacy, right? You know?
Yeah. I don't know if that story's going to go anywhere from there.
Well, I mean...
I'm going to lose my license for 3 months.
Congratulations,
and get a
Jarrod.
$450 fine. So
well earned, if anything.
But I think the crazy thing is I had no incident apart from the red light before that. And the red light thing, I don't feel as though I had really done something wrong because I had this specific situation. I just felt like a good boy.
Yeah.
And I guess I thought I was impervious. Like, oh, I'm not one of those drivers.
Yeah, 100%.
But then I was.
Yeah, I mean, these things happen. You know, I'm one of those people who have a clean record. I'm about to go on my blacks, so February.
You have a completely clean record.
Completely clean record. I actually have only been breath tested / pulled over 4 times. Wow. And that's in almost 4 years of driving. So
damn,
maybe I'm lucky. But on that topic, my roommate lost his license recently for talking on the phone.
Does he have it back yet?
No, he gets it back at the end of January. Now,
so he gets his back, I lose mine.
Yeah, exactly right. Lovely. So to cut a long story short, basically I called him one afternoon. I thought he was downstairs. I didn't intentionally call him to lose his license.
Totally.
He was on a busy road, just happened to pull out onto it, and he got done by the copper and for talking on his phone. So to pay the price, I basically drive him to the shops every Sunday to do our shopping. I'm like his mum.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think he's responsible. You shouldn't answer your phone. Like, you didn't know he was in the
100%.
car.
Like, I got to go shopping anyway. It's just a good schedule thing, but it's funnier if I tell everyone that I got
it. It is funnier that way.
You know, 100%.
I want to move into a topic that I think is relevant to these times, the times that we currently live in.
The times.
I can't remember the last time I was bored.
Yeah, man. Like, boredom, right? It's very subjective. My grandma has a great saying that I've always remembered.
Yeah.
No intelligent person is bored.
No
right?
intelligent person is bored.
Right. Well, you know, you can find something to do.
Probably. I just remember as a kid getting bored.
Yeah.
And I think as a quite a young kid, you almost see some level of responsibilities like on your parents. Like 100%. I remember my brother and I would literally complain to our parents like, oh, we're bored. We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And they said something similar. They were like,
maybe it's just the fob off, right? Maybe it's just like, yeah, don't be bored. Go play with your action men, you know?
Totally. But I think what it is that now there's so much entertainment, like between YouTube and video games alone.
Yeah.
I have no reason to get bored, really.
Yeah, 100%.
It's sometimes, very occasionally, I do actually get bored of those things, and then I sort of struggle to find something, but I usually find something a bit more productive to do coming out of that.
Yeah, look, I'm almost enjoying, I wouldn't say boredom, but it's close to boredom. I work full-time on Christmas holidays right now, so this just nothingness is almost enjoyable, you know?
Yeah.
So I woke up and put the cricket on this morning. It was quite enjoyable. Did a bit of housework, got lost in that for a bit. That was almost mind-numbingly entertaining.
Do you listen to a podcast while you do housework?
Nah, I put the cricket on. So I just put
okay, so you're listening to the cricket.
So I'm listening to the cricket.
I would recommend listening to the PeePcast. We just got iTunes approved.
Whoa!
Right after I got, found out I'd lose my license, I got home and to an email from Apple.
What a double-edged sword.
Saying that the PeePcast is iTunes approved.
That's a pretty big deal. Everyone, please download, listen. Is there a subscribe button on the iTunes?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely subscribe. 5-star reviews only. Only. Like, you're only allowed to do those, please.
Well, it'd be nice.
I'm telling you, I'm not asking.
Completely legit on iTunes.
This is authentic.
Yeah.
I'd like to give a quick shout out to my brother who is listening. You know Luke Porter.
Luke Porter, mate. Good on ya.
What's he doing? Probably nothing.
He's probably listening.
He better be listening.
You told him to listen?
Of course I told him to listen.
Has he told you he's listening?
He told me he was listening.
Okay.
But anyway.
Well, Lukey boy.
On
ya, mate.
He better be coming out for New Year's. I'll be very disappointed if he doesn't.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. What are you doing for New Year's, Jarrod?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I got to say, I've really not been into drinking much or substances or anything lately. I've just been, doing my martial arts.
Which is awesome. I mean, I love MMA, but to talk about, you've been doing MMA / Jiu-Jitsu. So
yeah.
So tell me if I'm wrong, but predominantly Jiu-Jitsu with a bit of MMA. Jiu-jitsu. So what is that? So is that
I think that's more driven by my personal interest in Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And I think the sensei is more interested in Jiu-Jitsu because Jiu-Jitsu is sort of this endless sort of complexity of a martial art.
Right.
Like striking, look, it's probably just literally because I've done less striking.
Yep.
But it just feels like, you've got your straight and your jab and your crosses and uppercuts.
Not to sell striking short or boxing by any means. It's a very complex thing. But for anyone listening, Jiu-Jitsu is almost it is just grappling and positioning, right? There's no hitting by...
in pure Jiu-Jitsu, right?
Yeah, there's no hitting. You're more rolling, almost physically rolling on the ground and positioning your body with other people's right. It almost sounds sensual, but it's not. Like... It's traditionally Brazilian, is it?
Well, yeah, we do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So, which I think is awesome. It's very cool and it's up and coming. It's getting very popular.
I'd say it's pretty well blown up. Like there's very few UFC fighters that don't practice some level of Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, you'd be an idiot not to, right? Like
it's pretty much the ground game. So you've got your stand-up game, and then when it goes to the ground, you're pretty much doing Jiu-Jitsu or Greco-Roman wrestling.
Well, it's one of the two. Like you're either good at Jiu-Jitsu or you're good at wrestling, and especially MMA is very American, right? It's very dominated by Americans, so they have a slightly different version of wrestling. Not so much Greco-Roman, but it's one of the two. You know what I mean? Like you either got great wrestling or you've got great jiu-jitsu. And if you're not great at that, you're great at striking. You know what I mean? So it's a combination.
And then you're one of those guys that doesn't want it to go to the ground.
Yeah.
Which I think you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You want to be pretty good at knocking people out if you don't want it to go to the ground.
100%.
Or have really good takedown defense, which you do see.
Which you see, look, I mean, not to get too specific, but our one and only Australian champion has amazing takedown defense. And that's why he's entertaining. To a casual fan anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. He can take a punch, give a punch, but also avoid a takedown, which to a casual fan is very appealing when you kind of get to a new level, especially someone like you who does jiu-jitsu can more appreciate that level of technicality, I think.
Totally. One thing I would like to talk about is, you kind of wanted to discuss films and things that kind of scarred us a bit as a child or freaked us out as a child.
So look, I mean, we had a bit of a discussion about this before, but my work, they love to get into the Christmas spirit, right? So we have a few TVs stationed around the office and we sync them up to play Christmas movies. Now, I'm not even a fan of Christmas movies. Look, I love Home Alone.
Die Hard.
Die Hard, of course. You cannot mention Christmas movies with Die Hard. I'm a Die Hard
It's one of those just
fan.
amazing action films that just sneaks into being a Christmas movie.
100%.
Like, it's not really a Christmas movie.
It takes place during Christmas.
Totally.
So one day, the guy in charge decided, let's play some classic Christmas movies. And they played The Grinch with Jim Carrey.
I'd say that's pretty classic.
Now, I hate this movie. And I don't hate this movie because it's a bad movie. I hate this movie because it used to freak me out as a kid. I was a young kid. Now, I'm 20 years old, almost 21. Now, this movie used to freak me out. It used to freak me out because Jim Carrey dressed up in that gross, furry outfit with that makeup, and he's like super expressionist, angry face. Freaked me out. And then all the people in the movie have weird noses and weird hairdos, and
because they are meant to look like the Dr. Zeus people.
Now, I like Dr. Zeus, don't get me wrong, but this just used to weird me out. I just have this almost. What's the Pavlov?
Yeah, Pavlovian response.
Yeah, and I just watch it and I go, oh, turn it off.
So even now you get that.
I still detest that movie.
So strange.
On the flip side of that, though, a movie that used to freak me out a lot as a kid was Harry Potter. Right?
Really? Like the Philosopher's Stone?
The Philosopher's Stone. I don't know why. I actually recently read all the books and then rewatched the movies. And I'm not a massive fan, but I
it's all a bit creepy. Voldemort,
yeah,
you know?
I don't know.
What that guy he pretends to be?
Yeah, Tom Riddle or whatever it is.
No, that's the Chamber of Secrets with Tom Riddle.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Were you freaked out by the Chamber of Secrets or the Philosopher's Stone or both?
Stone. It was
actually called the Sorcerer's Stone in the US.
Yes, because they couldn't
handle the concept of a philosopher. I think a sorcerer just sounds cooler.
Definitely.
The Sorcerer's Stone.
Definitely. Magic, man. You know? But that movie used to freak me out a little bit, but nowhere near the level of The Grinch. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. There's the weird makeup, like live action stuff, man. You know, I can vibe with this new animated Grinch that's coming out. Not that I'll watch it, and I probably never will. But, animated, whatever. But this live action stuff.
You know what creeped me out was claymation.
Really?
I found claymation creepy. Like, I've always loved Wallace and Gromit, but I just found them a little creepy.
Really? That was a massive thing for me as a kid.
Particularly in A Grand Day Out, the first one, where they go to the moon.
Oh, no, I'm with you there. That little bloody fridge thing creeped me out as well.
The fridge didn't really creep me out.
Oh, that creeped me out.
What creeped me out was, like, the pacing. There was a weirdness to it. Like, Wallace is just like, okay, Gromit. And you're just kind of sitting there in this silence, and this creepy claymation face is just staring
back at you?
Yeah. And I had like a kind of nightmare.
Really?
Well,
Let's delve into this.
I was a young child. I've quite a good memory, I'm happy to say.
That's good.
I was a young child and had this kind of nightmare where I was on the moon. And I was being catapulted, like, over these moon mountains.
Moon mountains?
Sort of moon mountain ranges.
Yep.
And Gromit...
Were they grey or were they, like, cheesy? Sorry.
More typical moon looking.
Okay.
But Gromit was staring at me sort of from space. Like a big sort of transparent Gromit was, like, staring at me like... You're in trouble, mate.
Ooh.
And you know that powerless feeling you have in dreams sometimes?
Yeah, of course.
I was hurtling through space and there was nothing I could do. I couldn't even really move.
Yeah.
And I was just frightened to death.
And your heart's going and...
face of Gromit. And then I sort of remember just like images of Wallace's face like circling around me and just being creeped out. You know, that the big eyes and the
big
smile,
eyes, the
like
expressionist eyebrows. Yeah. I mean... The movie creeped me out a little bit. Dad was a massive fan, but...
What, because of the were-rabbit?
No.
You're still talking about Grand Day Out?
Yeah. I say movie. It's, what is it?
It's a short.
Yeah. But that fridge and the really squeaky sound effects they had. And the thing was like evil. I don't know why.
He just wanted to go skiing, didn't he?
Maybe he did. I haven't watched it.
He wanted to protect his moon. He was kind of an environmentalist for the moon's sake.
Yeah. I'm down for environmentalism.
And Wallace was kind of representing man, kind of... taking advantage of that environment for his own...
Dude, we could do a film study on the Wallace and Gromit movies.
I think there's some kind of depth there.
There is, definitely.
Like he's kind of this white imperialist that just shows up and takes the moon
right
for his own kind of needs.
Right.
And the fridge is not happy about that. And even his spaceship is like leaking like toxic fluids onto the moon.
Dude.
Some serious stuff.
We should do this. We should actually plan this. What's your favorite Wallace and Gromit movie?
I think I like A Grand Day Out. Oh,
what's the one with the penguin?
Oh, The Wrong Trousers. I believe that's the second one.
No, that's the best one, no question.
That was the second
yeah.
consecutively. I love those original three so much. Like, I just watched all three religiously as a child.
Yeah.
The Curse of the Were-Rabbit didn't live up to my expectations.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we waited years and years. I remember hearing about it, like maybe 8 years before it came out.
They did another one, didn't they, since?
There was The Baker's Dozen.
Ah, yes.
And I remember not being that wowed by that. I think maybe it's the technology. It feels like they've started sort of pacing it normally, and it just kind of feels like more typical sort of animation. I don't know. I liked when it was creepy and quirky. Something wasn't quite right about Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, you're right. And you watch those fingerprints on their faces?
Totally.
That's cool.
And then when it's all just too polished, it loses a level of charm.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to give another quick shout out to my old boss, Amanda.
Hey, Amanda.
She said she was listening.
Awesome.
I'm willing...
From Coles? Or?
No. From my new job.
Oh, okay.
From my finance job. So, hello, Amanda. Please don't tease me about this when I see you next. She will.
Well, there's nothing to tease you about. You're clearly an extremely talented, charismatic, smooth-voiced man.
I better put that on my...
on your resume.
Definitely.
When you go to your new job, because Amanda's going to become your boss again and fire you for how poorly you've performed on this show.
There's 100% what's going to happen. What were we talking about?
Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit. You totally distracted me. I just love that there's some wholesomeness to it,
Yeah.
When you watch that...
Try to speak more directly into your microphone.
Policing me again. I'm too animated.
I hear you through these headphones, so you're better off talking into that than...
Okay, because I took the headphones off because they were hurting my ears.
Well, you got weak ears, son.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to have to go do some ear push-ups.
I can do those.
Yeah?
Do we have a gym for ear push-ups?
It's just called the floor, bro. You'll work it out.
I did want to ask you about your cooking.
Cooking, okay, sure.
Now, Jarrod's always been quite independent, right? As long as I've known him, and I've known Jarrod for many, many years.
Yep, that's right.
I'm a terrible cook. I wouldn't even call myself a cook, right?
Well, you do cheese toasties.
Oh, man, I'd do a wicked cheese toastie, put some barbecue sauce on that bad boy.
Mi Goreng.
Oh, nah, not ever since my story. I can tell my story about Mi Goreng.
Oh, we'll do this thing and then we'll do
all right. Remember, I'm going to write this down because I need to tell my story about Mi Goreng. This is a bad story.
Well, that's exciting because I've got some Mi Goreng memories from back in the day.
So before we came, we were eating some wicked pesto chicken.
That's right.
So where did the drive come from, huh?
To make pesto chicken?
Well, just
to cook so much.
Yeah. Do you enjoy it? Yeah.
Well, my dad was always a great cook. As long as I remembered, he's always cooked great food. And whenever people come over, they'd be like, "Wow, Tim, this is amazing food." People were always impressed. People always told him to become a chef. And he went to TAFE and he got the qualification.
Nice.
And he became a chef at the Carrington. He was the breakfast chef. Worked his butt off at that job.
Nice.
Very early starts.
Yep.
To have breakfast ready for all the people. And I just think his boss was a bit rough on him. You know what it's like when you have a bad boss that yells at you, expects a lot.
Yeah, Amanda, I do know that.
Ooh. And eventually Dad just had enough, threw in the towel.
Yep.
I think he had been a chef maybe at one other place.
Yep.
And I think he just decided that cooking commercially just sort of ruined it.
Well,
and he
it's
didn't
all
have the
guts, no
passion.
glory, right?
He didn't have the passion at home anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and he cooks less than he used to. But anyway, I was inspired to cook by my dad. And, Dad always worked a lot of hours. He'd work 12-hour days and stuff, and I'd get home from school before he got home. So I was left there with a pantry and a fridge and pots and pans. And
I just remember, honestly, sneaking off from school. You and I used to do a little bit, not for any nefarious things, but to play video games.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
You used to live up the road from the school, and I always loved going to Jarrod's because he'd whip me up a mad meal. Even if it was just like...
Mi Goreng or toast
whatever
or whatever
it was.
During that time in our lives.
Yeah, Jarrod whipped me up a mad meal.
But the thing is, even if it's toast, I cook it the perfect amount. I get it out instantly.
Yep.
One piece at a time.
Yep.
Get the butter on straight
Yep.
away. Get the butter on the other piece straight away. Get your peanut butter or jam or
Yep.
whatever you're having on straight
Yep.
away. And
But you always
so
add
it's
a
still
little,
hot.
little
And that butter's got to be melted.
Definitely. You add some extra to it. You know what I mean? Something I wouldn't have thought of. There's always another specialty to it.
Even with toast?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Probably. It's been a while, but
My secret is get that butter on straight away and use a lot of butter.
if the butter hasn't melted before you put the next condiment on it, well, you're not doing it right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, we used to, and it was brutal too because we used to walk up the main road to school, and I
Yeah.
always used to be so worried. And this is
Yeah.
me being a paranoid 13. Jarrod,
I did not care.
This is Jarrod. Bad influence on me. And we used to stroll up with our backpacks on back to Jarrod's house.
In uniform.
Yep. In
broad
our bright
daylight.
yellow uniform, mind you. Nothing subtle.
Couldn't miss it. May as well have been high vis.
Yep.
Fluoro.
Yeah. Well, it was fluoro. It was fluoro yellow.
Essentially.
And so we used to walk back to Jarrod's. He'd whip us up a wicked meal. Then we'd play probably Halo.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure we played Halo. I know when Halo 4 came out, I walked all the way to your place. Oh no, I got a bus to your place.
Well, yeah, you walked from your place, got a bus
to the top of Yellow Rock Road.
Yeah, that was the days. We did that with a few new games that came out, huh?
I only remember Halo 4.
Yeah. No, you did it for my PC. And when I bought my new PC, I had to assemble it.
That's right.
And
yeah. And before that, it was when you got your Xbox One.
Yep. That's right.
I came and played some Forza Motorsport.
Yeah, those were the days. And that's what I still have strong memories of that because the bloody triggers used to vibrate.
Yeah. And that was the only game that had it. I think it was Forza 5 was the launch for the Xbox One.
Yes.
That had trigger vibrations. And it was a big deal when the Xbox One came out. Well, Microsoft thought it was a big deal. Oh, the triggers are going to vibrate, inbuilt trigger vibrations. And so one Forza game had it. And if you play the Master Chief Collection, which is the collection of the first 4 Halo games.
Exactly.
Halo 3. Only Halo 3 has trigger vibrations. If someone could explain that to me, Phil Spencer, if you're listening, if you could explain why Halo 3 has vibrating triggers and nothing else does, that'd be great.
Yeah, right. But
it almost makes me think they were planning that for the 360. Before the 360 launch, they wanted vibrating triggers. They built that into Halo 3, and then it just didn't eventuate.
To me, that sounds like the only reasonable expectation.
Right. Because it wouldn't be something they've done now, because otherwise they'd put it in all the games.
Exactly. Now, back to our small topic about food. We mentioned that I had a conversation about Mi Goreng, and I want to bring us back to that.
Oh, yeah?
Now, this is a short story, but a funny one. So, when I was in uni... one of the things about uni, it's not like high school, right? So you kind of come and go during these classes and whatever.
Sure, yeah.
And it was near the end of the term semester, and I had an assignment. And I just remember eating 4 packets of Mi Goreng noodles. Now, this is not a small amount of noodles.
That's my regular amount, I think.
Right. Now, I was I'm
like at least 3, maybe 4. 5's a big boy. 6 is you're a bit nuts.
So I'd been experienced. I had 4 before, but I usually stuck it to 2 to 3. I was pretty hungry this day.
I think 3 is the go-to.
So I whipped up 4 packets of Mi Goreng, perfectly inspired by Jarrod's Mi Goreng making. Which is who got me on a Mi Goreng, Jarrod, in the first place.
Of course.
So I smashed Mi Goreng, brilliant. Drove 40 minutes to my uni, sat down for this assignment, and boom, your stomach ain't happy.
Go to the bathroom.
Nah. Just couldn't concentrate. My stomach is just rumbling. I feel like I'm going to spew. I feel like I'm going to let go. And I go to the teacher. I go, the person looking at me, I go, I'm sick. I can't do this.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Do you reckon they could tell that you were legit?
Well, my face was pale. I'm sweating bullets. I'm going, oh. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting there going, like, what am I doing? What am I doing?
You're going to die from 4 packets of Mi Goreng.
I legit thought I was going to pass out. I legit thought, I was like, if this is how I die, I'm going to die after Mi Goreng. Terrible Mi Goreng. You know what I mean? Like, this is...
You enjoyed it while you ate it, though.
100%. You know, if this is how I go out... Actually, to tell you the truth, if that's how I went out, I wouldn't even be that ashamed.
There's some honor in that.
Yeah, right?
He died doing what he loved. Eating copious amounts of Mi Goreng.
Watching YouTube and eating... Like, it would have been my sodium. My sodium levels would have been through the roof.
I always found I was really dehydrated after Mi Goreng.
100%.
I used to actually get a big, like... what's that, like a 3-liter apple juice,
Yeah.
and just fill it up with water. Like after the apple juice was gone, fill it all the way with water and just smash it. After
Maybe that's what I should have
ate Mi
done.
Goreng.
Right? I died. I drove home in my little Nissan Pulsar and just
Passed out.
I was like, was I going to like crap myself? Was I going to vomit? Who knows? Nothing eventuated, thank God. I think I just passed out in my bed and just...
And woke up really dehydrated and drank water.
Yeah, but Mi Goreng made me fail that test. 100%.
Oh, you got to fail.
I failed. I didn't even finish it.
But clearly you had some like special medical circumstances taking place.
Yeah, I don't even think I chased up on it. I think...
You didn't even care. That was the turning point where you decided you didn't care about uni.
Yeah. I think
Was that actually the moment where it all
it
fell
was probably
apart?
a little bit before that, to be honest.
Okay.
But like, yeah, that was a big point for me. I was like, whatever, like life or death, or making or vomiting on this paper. Like that was pretty brutal.
I mean, that stuff's got to be pretty bad for you.
100% it does. I've had real, I shouldn't say real Mi Goreng, but I've had proper Mi Goreng in Bali.
Yeah, okay.
And while
I don't even know what proper Mi Goreng is.
It's actually pretty similar.
Chili, soy sauce,
Sure.
onion,
You're talking to the wrong person, but I mean,
spices.
yeah. But it tastes very similar, but...
And obviously noodles. The mi means noodles.
Yeah, does it?
Yeah.
In what language?
I'm pretty sure it means that... I think pad in Thai means noodles.
Okay.
And I think mi must be noodles in Indonesian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Well, my girlfriend and I were on a whitewater rafting trip in Bali. And it was... Now, I've been whitewater rafting with Jarrod once before.
That's
now,
right.
This
For your
was
birthday
an
years ago.
amazing experience. This was at the whitewater rafting course
That was
in
awesome,
Olympic Park.
Don't know why we never did that again. Was that expensive?
I don't know. I don't know. Dad paid for it. I don't think it would have been that expensive.
Okay. He
But-
paid for me as well.
Yeah. It was like a birthday present kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that was awesome. That was so much fun. And it was like
It really was.
legit heart pumping. Like, you know,
Totally.
and because it's a course, so we kind of went around a few times.
And we were with like 4 other nerdy kids.
Yeah, they're all about probably similar age.
An Indian kid, an Asian kid, and a white kid walk into a whitewater raft.
Right? Now, I mean, so this was amazing. Like the dude was a pro. Honestly, he was probably like 25, but at the time we were like 13, 14. So he looked like an adult, like a fully functioning adult. Dude probably wasn't. Dude probably did this on the side. Now, like he actually tried to flip the raft. This was a 6-7
Intentionally,
person raft.
right?
Yeah.
To
yeah.
teach us how to like get back on. And
Exactly. Now they had these guys on the side with ropes if you fell off, and he was like,
Totally.
he told us you're gonna fall off.
They were probably overdoing it with the like, get the kid out of the water
Yeah.
within 1.0 seconds.
And they just throw ropes at you and whatever. Now he said at the start, you're gonna fall out, and I was like, nah, I'm not falling out. Not happening.
We started falling out just intentionally for the fun.
Well,
of it.
once you kind of settled in, and you were like, okay, this isn't as scary as it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we went. This was this Balinese. I don't know. We paid throughout. This is how funny this was. We paid through the place we were staying at, like the hotel, and the guy was like, don't. Like he pulled us, Amy and I, to the side. My girlfriend to the side, and he's like, don't tell anyone, but we gave you a special deal through the hotel. Don't tell anyone how much you paid. And
So
we were
we've
like,
gone from your, what was it, 15th, 16th birthday?
probably like 15th birthday.
To like present day,
Present day
and
this
your
year.
girlfriend in
We're in
Bali.
and we're doing this whitewater. I was pretty keen on it because I'd had this great experience.
Mm.
So we kind of set it up through the reception through our hotel. They were like, yep, cool, whatever. The car's going to be here to pick you up at X time. Get on, go, wear some swimmers, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, I don't often wear thongs, but Bali, I wore thongs exclusively. It's hot, easy to do,
Yeah.
whatever. So I just wore thongs.
I was the same in Thailand.
Right. Now, I just wore swimmers and thongs. Anyway, the guy pulls us to the side and he picks us up in the car. And he's like, don't tell anyone how much you paid. We gave you special deal because they gave you reference. Don't tell anyone. I mean, I'm like going, what?
I bet they massively overcharged you.
Well, we paid, I don't know, it was like $30. It wasn't even
Oh,
that
wow.
much. It was cheap. Like, it was cheap. But
30 Australian.
yeah, it was something pretty cheap. I don't know. I had to double check. But that was already weird. So we go on this 15-minute walk down this hill mountain thing. Like, it was steep. And these, obviously in Bali, there's no safety regulations. Our guides don't speak English, of course. So
Lovely,
we're carrying a paddle and each and a life jacket.
Yep.
And we're walking down this, and it's so steep. It is so steep. And everyone's freaking out. Now, we were the youngest there by far. Everyone else was in their late 20s, early 30s.
Sure,
they were freaking out on the way going, we're going to have to walk back up this, rah, 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 rah.
Were they overweight or something?
Well, a couple of them were.
Okay.
Maybe it's a legit worry to them, but to me, I was like, yeah, it'll suck. But
I've never been that person that's like, oh, I'm a big walker though.
Yeah.
So I've never understood people freaking out about having to walk.
Look, honestly, this was a steep walk. Like, it would have sucked no matter how fit you. Like,
Okay.
I wouldn't even say no matter how fit you are, but it would have sucked.
Okay.
Like, it was full on.
So they were freaking out. We might have to walk back up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Spoiler, we didn't. We walked straight to a car. It was very easy.
Okay.
So we hop on this whitewater raft up. This woman starts crying in the group next to us. She's bawling her eyes out, freaking out because the first rapid looks pretty full on.
Was this a lot more intense than Penrith?
Not at all.
Okay.
You kind of circumvented my story, but sorry everyone for ruining my epic story, but this sucked.
We'll fix it in post.
This whitewater rafting sucked. The best rapid was the first rapid. And this what caused this like 50-year-old woman to start bawling her eyes out, freaking out.
Yeah.
No one spoke English. We had no idea. We stood there for half an hour.
I mean, that's a bit scarier.
Right.
The fact that you're in Bali.
I was getting a bit like, ooh, here we go. I was getting a bit worked up. Hopped on the whitewater raft. This thing was just a leisurely cruise down the river. You know what I mean? Like no one spoke English. Even a few people that were Chinese tourists, I think, and they didn't even speak English. Leisurely cruise. Like this was something I'd take a 6-year-old on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it was that non-life threatening.
Totally. So
we just went, and it was like so long. It was like an hour and a half. I was so over it 20 minutes in, but it was all right. We did our little paddling, whatever. They let us off and they're like, all right, lunch. And they just take us to this like upstairs terrace after we've walked a flat 20 meters to the bus. When I say it's a bus, it's a bench seat on the back of a ute. Like, what I mean?
That sounds very Bali.
And they're like fanging it like 60, 70 Ks through these terrible streets.
That sounds like that was more exciting than the whitewater
100%
rafting.
it was. On the way there, it was more exciting. On the way back,
drive people around in a ute.
100%.
In the back of a ute.
Way more cool.
That is actually some of the most fun I've had is just getting in someone's tray.
Oh, definitely.
And
definitely.
Just bush bashing.
Definitely. So we had this authentic Mi Goreng. I assume it was authentic, but it tasted a little different. But it tastes very similar to the packet stuff, just less salty.
Oh, I bet. Because that stuff is salty, super sweet.
Yeah.
That's the issue with most bad food.
Yeah, exactly. But it was good. Authentic Mi Goreng was good.
Okay. Would you say that this Bali whitewater rafting was pretty much the same kind of level as it was in Penrith? Like
No. Oh, look, honestly, I was young. We were both pretty young. But these were real rapids, where in Penrith they were artificial. Right.
So you would actually fall on rocks and stuff if you fall out.
Yeah, but we didn't even come close to
as a result of that. The white water was actually less intense
100%.
Because you don't want people falling out.
I don't know like what it was. It was just a long ass trip that wasn't that.
And when it's a natural formation, you can't like make it intentionally exciting. It's like there's going to be slow parts, and
I don't know. I expected my heart to at least go above whatever beats per minute it was, but it did not. I was cold because it was wet and a little unenthusiastic. And then we would go past like this ultra ritzy resort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like all these like, I don't know, assuming they're rich people, but like this resort looked fantastic. This is the way we did Bali, we moved around a lot. And you can do Bali a few different ways. But this resort was like secluded in the middle of the bloody jungle.
Damn. Sounds nice.
Amazing. And we're just going past and all these bloody rich people are standing there getting their massages and whatever and just watching us plebs go past on a raft. I'm going, damn, I know where I'd rather be,
Yeah.
But
stuck on this raft or getting that massage.
Yeah. That looked fantastic. Like, but that's what I say about Bali. I mean, people assume Bali is just like a party mecca, but you can do it however you want. You can party till your heart's content. You can relax till your heart's content.
I would say it's the same in Thailand.
Yeah.
Like we stayed at some places that were just really nice resorts where they would, have a spa and give you massages or whatever. Or, there's party streets where people just get wasted.
It's the same in Bali. In Bali. it's very much it is what you make of it, and I would really recommend anyone who just wants a nice holiday, go to Bali. It's not that much of a culture shock. Don't freak out. They're so nice. It's so cheap. A beer is like $2 Australian.
Yeah, same in Thailand.
It's just food. Amy and I, my girlfriend, we didn't eat the same kind of meal. We would eat Italian, we would eat Greek, we would eat whatever.
Yeah.
And because they have a lot of foreigners opening up their own restaurants, so the quality was amazing. We went to this taco place. Brilliant. It was amazing. We would get 2-course meal, drinks, everything, $30 for both of us.
Yeah. Just having a nice little chat/interview with my childhood best friend. Well, I have multiple best friends. Everyone uses the term best friend. I think I'm going to start calling you guys better friends.
Should I be offended? Am I not your best friend?
Well, I would say you, James Roach, and Finley Island are my best friends.
Good company.
My top picks. Jarrod Hurdle's top picks.
The toppest picks.
For hot chicks.
Ooh, maybe you should write like a pickup book or something.
Well, I'd have to actually be able to pick a girl up to write that book, Sam.
One step at a time.
I was talking with Sam kind of just before the show about how I just don't really pursue women. I think I don't really have the skill or ability, and I'm also not like, I don't know. I'm more interested in stuff like this.
Yeah, each their own.
I'm like, not as if like I wouldn't love to have a girlfriend or whatever. I've had girlfriends.
Okay.
They generally fall into my lap. Like I just somehow meet them, and they're
usually
usually into me just magically, and I'm just like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, mate.
I'm going to really try and make this happen. Here we go.
Oh, I always love hearing about Jarrod's the stories of his girlfriends and stuff, because they're always just so out of the box. You know what I mean? Like they're always so unique. And sometimes Jarrod and I don't know, just sometimes because we live a good hour away, like we don't see each other sometimes for like a couple months at a time.
Totally.
So we always have good stuff to talk about when we do catch up, and
That's true,
always one of my favorite topics.
Well, I think I have weird experiences because I think I attract kind of more weird, interesting, quirky
I'd
girls.
use the word quirky.
Yeah, I mean weird, not in like a bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah, quirky, different girls, right? I don't really attract your standard girl, whatever that means, right?
Well, to make it a bit more regional, I'd say a lot of mountains girls, a bit more like, I don't know, hippie, airy-fairy. Not that that's a bad thing by any means.
Yeah. Just, I don't know, more out of the box kind of girls. And I'm a weird dude.
No doubt.
So you take me, a weird dude, and, some kind of different chick, and different things happen. I don't really know how else to put it.
Oh, it's always so funny.
Also this like weird, like hopeless, sort of desperate romantic as well. Like if I
almost find that endearing in you.
If I'm like, oh yeah, no, I love this girl, and then
you fall hard.
I just go all in.
You do.
I'm completely in love with you. This is it. And then generally they go, oh, you're a bit over. It's a bit much.
it's so bloody funny. You know what I mean? Like,
and then they have to claw me off and throw me away.
You do fall hard. Like I just remember a couple of occurrences where I'm just hearing Jarrod rave about this girl, rave hard. And I've probably never met this woman in my life.
What, the most recent ex of mine?
No, I didn't. Did I?
No, you guys met.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Very briefly.
Okay.
Like you were just talking smack.
Oh, see, I talk a lot. I mean, if you guys can't tell already, I can just talk.
But you should see Sam drinking at a party. He's just...
I don't shut up. I do not shut up. I love making friends. It's one of my favorite things to do. No matter where I am, I will make friends. Just friends. I just like to chat to people, question people, talk to people, find out about people. Yeah. If it's not a talent, it's something else.
That's a talent of yours, yeah.
I'd also like to give another quick shout out to AD, if she's still listening.
AD? Who's AD?
Another person I work with.
Is she an assistant director?
Sure. Tell her that.
What does AD actually stand for?
It stands for Amanda Davis.
Amanda Davis. And that's a different Amanda?
That is. So AD, everyone knows her as AD. So
we might have to start calling our audience the Amandas.
Would make sense, wouldn't it?
What up, Amandas?
Right.
Thanks for listening. And Luke.
And Amy.
And maybe my friend Tony.
Tony's a great name, isn't it?
I love the name Tony.
I always think of Mafia when I hear the name Tony.
Oh, yeah, because you got Fat Tony.
The Tony. Tony.
Hey.
Oi, Tony.
What am I doing over here? But which Mafia do you prefer? The Simpsons Mafia or the Futurama Mafia?
Ooh. Well,
For me, it's got to be Futurama.
100%.
The clamps. It's all about the clamps.
Futurama is just that show, isn't it? Like, it's just... I mean, we've had this conversation before, but it's... If anyone knows the creator of The Simpsons, Matt Groening, it was more of his own...
yeah, totally.
His own...
project.
Exactly. Whereas The Simpsons is an instant classic and you can't take away from what The Simpsons is. But
absolutely, yeah.
The Futurama...
The Simpsons is like more of a traditional... As much as it really broke the mold and the formula for like primetime television and animation.
Right.
You know, I think it was produced by James L. Brooks and kind of like... classic television established dudes. Yeah. I don't know much about David X. Cohen at all.
No, me either. I just remember seeing him on the bloody TV when you watch The Simpsons intro.
Purely by the nature of it, of Futurama being this sci-fi. It's just this more wacky, out of the box.
But that's why I love it. And the writing staff was so qualified. Now, when I say qualified, I mean doctorate qualified.
Overqualified.
You know what I mean? Like
these...
You see that in a lot of the when they talk about science, like they make it a joke, but it's actually like pretty spot on from what I understand. Which
like
I don't
how
understand
the Planet Express spaceship, instead of moving itself, moves space around it.
Right.
Is that actual science?
Sure. You tell me. You know what I mean? But
wow, thanks, Sam, for that one.
That's a great way to have a conversation. No, but there's an episode where they talk about transferring minds, right?
Oh, yeah, they had to come up with a new mathematic equation.
They actually came up with a brand new mathematical
to swap
formula.
brains with all of the Harlem Globetrotters.
The old Harlem Globetrotters. Do you know what the Harlem Globetrotters are?
They are a basketball team from like the 70s that... They were the best at the time, right?
Yeah, kinda.
So they were the show ponies.
Yeah, they're exhibitionists.
Yeah,
right. So they're famous for
tricks.
being exhibitionists, and they do a lot of cool tricks and stuff.
Yeah,
which makes their appearances even funnier, I think, in The Simpsons.
Because it's like a little bit ironic in Futurama. I don't think they were on The Simpsons.
No, Futurama. You're right. You're right. But when I think of the Mafia, I think of The Sopranos. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Did you watch The Sopranos?
Yeah. I watched it because you like. Forced me to.
I did. We used to have this relationship where it would be forced.
We'd force each other to watch a show and be like, I got you into this.
Yeah.
It's a good show. Oh, you better watch it.
So you started with Sons of Anarchy. You forced me to watch
I think I got the dud pick of the shows.
Look, I'm not going to take away from what it is. It started pretty strong, but
it starts good. You get to like season 4, and his son gets kidnapped, and then he gets the son back, and then his son gets kidnapped again straight away. Spoilers.
They just have the repeating storylines, you know?
Yeah. It's just not very creative.
Who did Breaking Bad? I want to say it was me.
It was absolutely you. Yes. As soon as we got our school laptops, I remember seeing you in class. You were watching it in class, a man and his wife lying in bed, and I could just see the sheets moving up and down, and they were just kind of talking casually.
Yeah.
And he had this like concentrating look on his face.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you watching? What is this? And you're like, oh, bro, it's this new 6 show. You like took one of your headphones out. It's Breaking Bad. It's so good, bro.
100%. That show still is
holds
iconic.
up. It's probably
100%.
the best show. For me, it's like Breaking Bad, Rick and Morty.
I'd say Sopranos in there for me, but I like Sopranos more than you like
Sopranos was nowhere near as consistent as Breaking Bad for me. It just...
Okay, you're right. No, I'll take that back. You're right. It is. But
it felt longer to me.
Like, it is longer. It's definitely longer.
The episodes?
There's more episodes in the season, I'm pretty sure.
But the episodes felt really long.
Yeah, but it is way more dialogue focused than Breaking Bad, which is still a heavy dialogue show, but it really... it was drawn out a lot more.
It felt drawn out to me.
No, I love that show. Okay, Rick and Morty. Who did Rick and Morty?
Me.
Yeah, it was definitely you.
Because
I'd heard about it, but you really pushed me to watch it.
I was watching YouTube, and some YouTubers were like, yeah, we've been watching Rick and Morty all day. And I'm like, Rick and Morty, what's that? And then I just literally looked it up. And back in those days, you could just watch Rick and Morty on YouTube.
Yes.
Adult Swim didn't even take it down.
They still did that up until the 3rd season. There was those... I honestly...
look, later on, they had like it's in like a border. And it just was not worth watching that way. Yep. But... back then, it was like just a straight up rip from television. No logos, no border. You just watch Rick and Morty on YouTube.
Up until season 2. And we started watching halfway through season 1. So we were very early.
Yeah, there were like a
Yes.
few episodes out. I feel like there were 4 or 5 episodes, and my mind was blown.
Yeah, that is an amazing show. And then I don't think we really shared any more TV shows after that. We kind of...
Well, you watch a lot more than I watch.
I haven't watched any good TV shows. I mean, Game of Thrones, but who doesn't like Game of Thrones? I like Game of Thrones. I'm not in love with Game of
I
Thrones.
struggle to get into stuff, man.
Yeah,
I'm
fair.
so hypercritical. Like,
Yeah.
if I start watching, particularly comedy, like I was trying to find some good stand-up last night, and
I can't.
the only thing that was really doing anything for me was Dave Chappelle. I was
Yeah.
trying to find like new comedians,
Yeah.
like all the different ones on Netflix, and just
I've got a good story about comedians.
yeah.
All right. So Jarrod would often talk about going to live comedy, but I'd never gone.
Yeah.
And it was just something I didn't care enough about to really interest in. I never wrote it off, but I didn't care about. So I was in Perth with my girlfriend, and we just, I think, happened to watch a demo show is the right word. It's a...
Open mic?
No. So he's a pretty popular comedian, and obviously bad.
Oh, is it like when they're trying to work out their
Yes.
special?
Yes. So they just smash
yeah.
out. No, it's just a pre-show, like before they even do a tour.
Yeah.
They just do the same show over and over, and it's
Yeah.
quite more loose. And we got tickets really cheap. And this guy was super famous, and
You don't remember his name?
he was on Flight of the Conchords quite often.
Yeah, Reese Darby.
No, not Reese Darby.
Arj Barker.
Aj Barker, yes.
Yeah, okay. I've
Aj
seen him
Barker.
twice.
Yeah, so we saw one of his practice shows in Perth.
Sure, okay. For the Showtime tour?
No, I couldn't tell you right now. I
Okay.
couldn't tell you. So
Couldn't
this was
remember what it's called.
this was this year. So
This year, okay.
This year, February this year.
I think I saw him last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't remember what that tour was called.
So we saw him in like the back room of a pub. Like it was the perfect introduction to comedy, right?
Yeah, totally.
There was 60
when it's
people,
grimy.
60 people there. He's on a back room, like on a stand.
I really think that's way better.
it was brilliant.
when it's
Amy,
intimate like that.
you know, Amy and I, we just had the best time. It was the middle of the day. We kind of went in with no expectations.
For Arj Barker?
Aj Barker.
But you've seen him on television. You know Arj Barker.
Yeah, but I'd never known any comedy from him. You know what I mean?
You haven't seen him do stand-up.
No,
You've seen him
no.
on like shows.
Yeah. So we went and saw him. It was fantastic. It was hilarious. And we were in Perth at the time of the Fringe Festival. Now, the Fringe Festival in Sydney's pretty big, in Melbourne, but in Perth, it's something else. It's like a phenomenon over
In
there.
Perth?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have thought Melbourne would be the place.
Well, I mean, it's big for the city, is what I mean.
right. For Perth, it's this crazy
yeah,
thing.
Yeah, they have pop-up bars. Amazing. We were originally over there for the UFC. Anyway,
Mhm.
so fantastic. This dude was a cack. We had a best time. So I was on a bit of a comedy kick.
Yeah.
So
okay.
then we went and saw, we went and saw Best of British. We just these unknown British comics. They were coming out 15-minute sets each.
Yeah.
Amazing. Hilarious. Same thing, 30 people in a room.
Do you remember their names?
Couldn't tell you their names at all. Even the MC, who would just introduce them, was a riot. He had the perfect amount of roasting the crowd, and he would just roast the kids in the crowd and whatever.
Yeah.
30 people. CAC. We watched that at like 12 p.m. at night. So it was just awesome.
So when did you do all this?
This was in Perth in February.
February.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Fantastic. So anyway, when the Fringe Festival came to Sydney, my roommate and I was like, we are going to see a show. And we'd picked...
And so when did it come to Sydney?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you.
Like recently?
Before I went to
July?
Bali. So it was probably March or something. I don't know.
March.
No, maybe April, May. Anyway, so I was like, we're going to see a show. And my girlfriend and I had actually gone to another show, like a mixed show that's just random comedians. You don't know who you're going to see.
Okay.
Now, these are good in theory and can work well, but they can also work bad. Because if you don't know the comedy, it can just...
I find with shows
Deadpan.
like that, even just like on television, like a comedy road show where they have a bunch of different comedians, you find like there's just a few golden ones and a few that
exactly
don't
what
work.
happened. Exactly
Yeah.
what happened with us. And then this woman who was quite intelligent, she had
Mhm.
quite intelligent humor, but her humor did not fit the crowd, and she
I gotta say,
bombed.
like, as stupid as it sounds, I'm not into like really intelligent humor.
I'm not
don't-
going to say it had something. You had to be like you just had to be in the know where she was kind of.
Totally.
But
yeah.
anyway, I mean, I'm sure she had a crowd. I'm sure she had her fans, but it just was not the right crowd. She bombed hard. I just felt bad. I honestly felt bad. I shouldn't,
Okay,
but
yeah.
because she's sort of done it a few times. She does not need my pity, I'm sure.
Right, but you put yourself in the shoes of the person on the
exactly.
stage.
Anyway, so the last guy was this Brit. I think he was a British guy. He was hilarious. Anyway, so like that week, I was like, Friday night, I finished work. Come pick me up. This is to my roommate. We're going to a show.
Yeah.
Now, my roommate is notoriously always busy. So not busy, just late, and can be quite not necessarily
unorganized, I would say.
Yeah, because he can just go, we're doing it at this time. And then he'll be like, oh, I'm late. You know what I mean? Like he'll just let something take over and he has to finish it.
Yeah.
And this happens all the time. We can be bloody leaving. I'm like, we need to leave now. He's like, I got to brush my teeth. I'm like, bro, I told you 20 minutes ago we're leaving at this time and you're leaving, you're doing this 30 seconds before we leave. Anyway, he's late. We missed the show.
Oh, man. Did you pay already?
We'd paid.
How much?
It was like $20 each. But he has a conscience and he paid for our new show, thankfully.
Okay.
So I'd actually been drinking with some friends from work. We were just having drinks and watching the footy or something. So I already had a few drinks and I was like, I didn't care. I was like, whatever, I'll pick a new show. He's like, I'll pay. Sweet. I was just looking at the Fringe Festival lineup. Just picked one that fit the time well. Went to Redfern. Redfern? Yeah, it would have been Redfern.
Okay.
Got there. Had a few glasses of wine. It was really funny. It was just like top tier comedy. It was probably like 100 people in the room.
So you're telling us about this good comedy, but you can't tell us who any of these people were.
I know, I'm an awful storyteller. It's irrelevant to the story because.
Okay, this is going somewhere.
I just talked about comedy for too long.
Okay.
So we'd had a few glasses of wine, and we actually went to the pub before to watch the footy. I'm a bit of a footy fan.
Yep.
Watched the footy. Had a few beers. All right, walk over to the comedy show. Had a few glasses of red wine. Went in, had a glass of red wine, watched the show. We were pretty...
Sounds like a lot
We
of
had
drinks.
quite a few, right? We're like, all right, let's leave. And they had big signs everywhere. Do not leave the premises with alcohol. They served the alcohol in little plastic cups.
Oh, no.
And so I like, especially with my roommate, I like to stir a little bit.
I've noticed.
Because he's very suggestible.
Sam is a stirrer. Sam loves to sort of manipulate and coerce like situations into hitting the fan that he can just sort of stand back and laugh.
You're spot on. So I coerced my roommate Alex. I was like, oi, how fast can you run? And he goes, oh, dude, I got this. And I was like, all right, so you're going to take this glass of wine and you're going to go for a run and you're going to run straight past that security guard and you see how far down the road you can get.
Sam.
So the bartender's giving us a look. The show's over.
I feel sorry for Alex because he is that guy that does anything that you tell him to when he's drunk. You get Sam drunk and you say, oh, man, you have to do this. And he'll do it.
Get Alex drunk.
So the worst combination is you and Alex because you will just tell
the best combination.
Someone to do anything that could put them in so much peril and danger.
I do have great care for my roommate. He's a great friend of mine, so I do have limits, just not very strong limits. So we had a glass of red wine each. I don't know what I was watching. I was like, all right, I'm going to keep an eye out. There's a Seki right there, security guard. Seki's standing right there. When he turns his back, go leg it.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, we waited. And I was like, go. He ran. But of course, any bloody 20-year-old moving at a pace in this tiny room. No, it was a courtyard. It was a courtyard. Yeah. Right.
You don't run.
100%. He bolted. He has
He probably could have just waltzed past with his wine.
Nah, the guy would have saw him because the guy was standing there. He was just waiting for him to turn his back.
Okay.
There would have been 40, 50 mils of wine in there. A mouthful of wine.
Yeah.
It was more of the premise. So he goes for a bolt. He goes for a run. I'm laughing my ass off. Of course I am. This is what I wanted. So I finish my wine. I waltz out. There's no security there because he's gone. He's just bolted after Alex. He's gone. He's run. So then the guy starts yelling. I'm probably like 15 meters from the incident. Alex is running up the road. The security guard's in tail right behind him, full pelt. And then the guy starts going, oi, oi.
And he's faster than Alex?
Well, Alex would have made that run, even holding the glass of wine. I should say plastic glass of wine.
Yeah, okay, yep.
But then Alex, who had a few, got confused and thought it was me yelling, oi, oi. I yell oi at him a lot.
Sure, yeah.
So he turns around and the security guard goes, what are you doing, mate? And then Alex goes, I'm tying my shoe.
What?
So he leans down, pretends to tie his shoe, stands up, and the guy grabs a glass of wine out of his hand and sticks his phone in Alex's face and takes a photo of him and goes, banned for life, banned for life. And then Alex goes, what? And then it was about to try and... Alex doesn't know when to give up. Tries to grab the wine off him, tries to clutch it from his hands.
Man.
And the guy just goes, no, pulls, tries to play
some kind of preschool struggle.
Yeah. The guy goes and then eventually just tosses the wine after just trying to stick a phone in Alex's face, which Alex has tried to movie space.
Did he get the photo?
We have no idea. We have no idea.
Yeah.
So
Ban for life.
Ban for life. Like, he just kept yelling, ban for life, ban for life.
He sounds like a robot, dude.
So I laughing my ass off. And then, that's kind of the end of the story. We went to the pub, had a few more, and just laughed about this Seki who just put on a full chase over 40 mils of wine, right? 40 mils of wine. This dude.
But I mean, he's probably suspecting that he's up to more. Like,
no, he knew.
Why would you sprint out of there?
He knew straight away what it was. Like
he was just sprinting out to have this little bit of wine.
Yep. He that's all he cared about. All he cared about was taking a picture.
I mean, that's his job.
Oh mate, come on, mate. Like,
he's just doing the job.
Yeah. You want to go for a run? I don't think he gets paid extra to go for a jog down 80 meters.
No, but he could be looked at less favorably. If he just stood there and did nothing, and like his boss sees that happen, doesn't look very good.
I don't know. I don't even know if it was legal. Probably it was legal. Definitely to take a picture of him, but like that was just the funniest thing to me. This dude was like banned for life. He said it like 5 times. He just kept yelling, "Banned for life. You're banned for life." I don't know if I'm banned for life. Alex is definitely banned for life.
Right. Did they even realize that you two were together?
100%. We'd been chatting in the corner secretly for like 5 minutes before he went for a run. Like, if there are security cameras there, like, we're in it together, no question.
Right. Do you reckon you guys could just go there?
100%. I'm down to go back just to see what happens. You know what I mean?
I'd be curious what happens when a particular friend of ours goes back to JB Hi-Fi.
Yeah, right. Gosh. I reckon he'd get away with it.
I'd love to ask him if he's been to JB Hi-Fi, or maybe just that specific one, because I'm sure he's gone to a JB Hi-Fi since he stole.
No, definitely. Knowing him, he's a very big gamer.
He is a big gamer.
So I think he'd definitely have gone back. I would strongly think he'd gotten away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We've got a hilarious comedy. We've got some deep truths.
The deepest of truths, like the Mariana Trench?
Marianas
Trench.
That's a strange pronunciation of Marianas.
It's my accent. It comes through sometimes,
What do you think of the planet Uranus?
I think it's a really unique and dark and maybe brownish planet,
Is it?
I think so.
I can't remember if it's brown or red or...
Who knows? Sometimes it can be both, probably. Who knows?
Yeah, you could probably be worried if it's red.
I'd be worried if Uranus was red. I'd be worried.
Why would you be worried?
Well, who knows? Like, any change like that, unexpected change, is a cause for worry.
To like a planetary atmosphere.
Oh, definitely.
Or the ground, the soil.
Well, who knows what's happening inside of it at that time? When you get that rapid change from brown to red, there's got to be something inside.
So it would be more soiled planets that would be brown.
Definitely the soiled planets that would be brown. Always.
Why are you laughing?
Look, I've always found astronomy to be a hilarious topic.
How do you feel about Astro Boy?
Look, I remember watching the old cartoons as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty dope. But
do you find it hilarious?
I do.
When he goes to space?
Oh, it's the funniest.
And his name is hilarious for you?
Let's look at Elon Musk putting that Model 3. No.
Yeah, I think it was a Model 3, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't a Model 3. It was a Speedster. Roadster. In space. That was the funniest thing to me. I want to ask you, Jarrod, we didn't get to really investigate this prior, but you have been having an idea for a graphic novel.
Yeah, that's right.
Elaborate, please.
Well, I've always been a drawer. I've always been a, esoteric, creative individual. As pretentious as it is to say that.
You're massively pretentious, Jarrod.
I'm happy to put it out there. I have these sort of comic book characters I draw, sort of like 90s comic book characters. I know you're a bit of a fan of Spider-Man. I know you're not a huge comic guy.
No, but Spider-Man's always been my favorite superhero.
Do you know Todd McFarlane?
Why do I associate action figures with Todd McFarlane?
Because he has McFarlane toys.
Well, there you go.
Now, so he had a career in comic books, working for Marvel. Yep. Did quite a run on Spider-Man. Was very popular. This sort of iconic huge eye Spider-Man?
Yep.
The eyes are huge and there's lots of webbing.
Oh, yeah.
There's the 90s Spider-Man. That's Todd McFarlane.
Was that the webbing under the arms?
I don't think he did webbing under the arms. But he created the messy spaghetti looking web.
Right.
So he's a very iconic, influential artist for Spider-Man. And he's just got this kind of gothic, almost harsh style to the way that he draws, and I just love that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been drawing sort of 90s comic book characters that kind of look like that, and really want to make an actual story with them. But I kind of struggle writing stories.
So is it the baseline story that you struggle writing, or is it the integral conversationalist?
I think I can do dialogue.
Yep.
It's really like, what is the point of this story? What's actually going to happen?
Right.
Yeah, kind of
it is difficult because, the basis of any kind of storytelling is you don't want to waste a scene. You don't want to waste any conversation. There needs to be a point to the conversation. It needs to be progressing the story, whether it's character building, story building, whatever. And integrating that, making it interesting, has got to be the most difficult.
I think I'm just so critical. Like, I'm really critical of what I watch and read. I think maybe I'm too critical of myself. And I've been told by my friend Daniel Gagan, who's a bit of a budding screenwriter, he's said, just write the shittest thing you can and just write shit and just do it.
Right. Well, wasn't it Bernie Burns who said...
From Rooster Teeth?
Rooster Teeth, who said that your first thing you ever write, and he's a screenwriter, he's going to be terrible. Right?
Yeah.
But you just got to work on it. Like, you got to build those foundations, right?
Yeah.
So can you give us... Do you want to talk about the basis of the...
Well, I'll tell you what... it's all up in the air. Mm-hmm. But I think... So I have this character with this really awesome mask. You may have seen me draw him before, but he's just this quintessential 90s style comic book character, and I want him to be like sort of a samurai dude with a katana.
Where's it based? Are we talking
blades.
Australia, America?
I think we're
Japan?
talking a futuristic feudal Japan. So it's like if feudal Japan made it into like the year 3000.
Very cool. Very cool. Cyberpunky or
cyberpunk?
Of course. The only way to do
that's my favorite stuff.
Yeah,
that kind of.
You and I both vibe really pretty hard on cyberpunky aesthetic.
That's right.
I love outrun style music, which is a very
synthy.
It's a very specific type of cyberpunk. It's very synth heavy, almost 80s synth.
Definitely 80s outrun. Yeah.
So, and you get that very pink, yellow, blue aesthetic with a lot of it. And I love neon. Love outrun style music. I can always vibe to that. So I think we were talking about Kravansky before. He's quite an outrun style.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So I can always vibe with that. So where are you at? What stage are you at with this?
Well, I've got characters.
Yep.
I've got this one sort of masked character. I've got a character that are based on Finley called the Locust.
Finley, who was on your first show last Thursday.
On the first episode.
I would really recommend going to listening to the Peeps podcast on iTunes, the first episode.
PeePcast.
I can't even get it right, and I'm on it. So,
we'll have to work that out, won't we?
Yep.
One day Finley was just wearing this big green jacket with like this collar, and his hair was just sort of draped down over his face like Kurt Cobain, parted in the middle. And he was wearing these little round black glasses, and I just thought he looked like this iconic sort of anti-hero comic book character.
Right.
And I was just like, the Locust. You're the Locust.
That's very cool.
And I just have drawn that like a few times.
Nice. So you take inspiration from friends and your environment, right? You're very
totally.
Yeah, of course.
And like what I've watched, like I'm sure it would end up being influenced by Dragon Ball Z, and
which you have always been a massive fan of.
Yeah, I don't really watch it anymore. It hasn't aged very well, Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball has aged better.
You reckon?
I'd say. Yeah, Dragon Ball because the issue with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, the issue with Dragon Ball Z is that Dragon Ball was made like a while after the manga series was made. So they were able to just make the anime purely based on the manga. So they had this like good established story to follow. Whereas with Dragon Ball Z, they caught up to the manga. And they realized they were catching up. So they were like, oh no, we have to keep making an episode every week because of money. Because money. So they just had to slow it down. They were like, okay, well, if we can make one issue of the manga last for like 10, 20 episodes, then we can keep going. And that's why you get your classic episode where nothing happens, like, you are not powerful enough to defeat me. Yes, I am, Frieza. Next time on Dragon Ball Z, and
Yeah.
nothing's occurred, and
course.
that's for that reason.
I just have strong memories of catching the end of Dragon Ball Z episode and catching the next time on Dragon Ball Z. Will Goku.
Yeah, it
You know
doesn't
what I
actually.
mean? Like-
it doesn't tell you what's on next time.
No.
It's like, will he defeat Frieza and save his friends, or will he succumb?
Can you imagine if every time you had a conversation, you know, when you ran into a friend and you know you're going to catch up with them next time, and instead of going, hey, next time we'll catch up and do this, you go, next time, will we catch up
Next
and have a
time.
beer? Or
Next time on Jarrod and Sam catch up, will we have a laugh, or will we have some kind of conflict? Find out next week on Jarrod and Sam.
we need a theme song, man.
Huh?
We need a theme song.
I've considered that.
Yeah.
I kind of like how raw this show
Of course.
is. Like, we just get on mics and
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
Maybe a thing.
But with an intro theme song, we look at the big boys like
Joe Rogan doesn't have a...
Yes, he does.
Only on the audio podcast, not on
I
YouTube.
exclusively listen to the audio podcast. So
Mm.
I mean,
Joe Rogan, podcast all day. No, train all day, podcast by night.
but yeah, I got nothing. I was listening to it like literally on the way here with
Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz, man, that dude's a cack. That dude's a cack.
He's been places. He's been down some roads. But let's not be the podcast that talks about the other podcasts.
100%. So I was
Questions?
watching what?
Because you've been looking at your phone a lot and laughing.
Yeah,
And I feel a
okay,
little...
I'll give a quick story of that. So for Christmas, I got a Google Home.
Mm,
Now-
how do you feel about that?
You know,
You
look, inherently, I'm opposed to having a mic,
Constantly being listened to. Yeah.
but
Because, I mean, our phones do have mics, but generally they're in your pocket.
yeah,
It doesn't-
but
it's
that
not-
was the thing
it
for
doesn't-
me.
It doesn't hear you everywhere
But
in the
my
house.
phone goes on my desk when I'm sitting on my desk.
Right.
At my desk, and same at work, same everywhere. So you know, it's like, all right,
is just
I'm already
listening to
there.
you.
You know, so I set it up. By the way, quick note: that is super easy to set up. Like that thing was really quick. That's intuitive.
But
design.
also the fact that Google makes the hardware means that no one can stop them from just implementing whatever listening kind of implementation they
I would
want.
be more worried about more governmental things. You know, they almost have a warrant to listen to whatever they want.
Well, they could sell it to the government. or
Right.
Just hand it over at their request.
Exactly. Anyway, so I got this Google Home. I actually quite enjoy it more than I thought I would.
Really?
Yeah, my girlfriend spent half an hour last night asking it questions.
But I imagine it's exactly the same as the Google Assistant on your phone.
Yeah,
You're just able to talk
but
to
it's
it.
it's a bit quicker. It's way more snappy and
Well, I guess it's a single function device,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and it's kind of, you know, I've only had it for a day, so I really haven't put it into proper use, but I've mucked around with it.
Right.
So I knew my roommate would be getting home. He gets home. It depends, anywhere between 5:30 to 7:00.
Sure.
So I left him a message. I have a very childish sense of humor. So I said,
You don't say.
Yeah, I know, if anyone's surprised.
Yeah.
So right before I left, and I said, okay, Google. My phone literally just reacted to that. So did Jarrod's.
Yep. And so did everyone's listening.
Exactly right. So I said that, and I was like, remind me at 7:30 to take a poo. I forgot about it. But my phone, because it synced to my phone and my account, my phone reminded me. And I looked at it and I smiled. Then
Does it come up and go, bloop,
well,
take a poo?
It just popped up. It just popped up and it said, take a poo.
Take a poo.
Take a
but
poo.
it didn't speak.
Well, not to me. And I was like, oh, damn, it just reminded my phone. But then I got another Google notification from my roommate Alex that said, F you, Sam. So I was like, it obviously had worked quite well.
Oh, that's great.
So if
That sounds
nothing
worth
else,
it to
if
me.
nothing else, I can play like crappy pranks on my roommate.
Literally crappy
Exactly.
pranks. on
Exactly.
Alex.
You know, I can remind him to clean your bathroom, you know, which he
Mm.
actually needs to do if anyone's wondering.
Yeah, there's sort of hair all over the place. I mean, mine's going that
Yours
direction,
is
but
not
it's
amazing
not.
either, but it's not that
It's not
level.
in Alex's.
See, I'm
slate.
pretty specific on mine, but I'm not the only one who uses it. My girlfriend uses it.
That's right. It's different when you have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's a different
If anything
world.
else, it keeps me more organized and
I
cleaner.
keep my bathroom messy to keep the women away.
It's obviously worked, so.
Yeah, it works extremely well. I have to keep them at bay, Sam. They're really chasing after me.
They're clawing at the doors.
That's right. They're
Definitely.
clawing at my clothing,
100%.
Sam.
Definitely.
So I need to create any kind of barrier I can. Any kind of...
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
How is your parents' memes? right? The topic of the day, of the month, the year. How do your parents react and use memes? Because I always find it hyper entertaining, old people and memes. They're often out of date. They're often wrong. They're just awful.
Sure.
And I find that in itself hilarious, you know?
Yeah. I was at my dad's place yesterday, you know, because we did our Christmas thing with our mum on Christmas Day and our dad's Christmas thing on Boxing Day. And my dad's new wife, Bron, lovely lady. We get along really well.
Awesome.
But she was just, you know, scrolling through Facebook and just showing dad these memes that were like, I know what I'm getting for Christmas, ... I'm getting fat.
Like, just like almost so bad they're anti-memes. Like,
yeah, totally.
But they're obviously not, like they're not.
No, it's just totally unironic
Yeah.
on Facebook in these older circles, yeah.
And then these old classic style, like the white text.
No, this was literally red with white text in some weird font. It was not classic meme.
These are mum pages on Facebook.
But then there was a classic meme format one with two cats in a box. And it was just something like, top text was like, we're cats. And the bottom text was something like, we love boxes. We love Christmas.
This sounds like a Rick and Morty joke. I love Christmas.
Pretty much.
Oh, man.
It's just two cats in a box. Like, oh, isn't Christmas great because we get boxes? Oh, no, it was we love Boxing Day. was the punchline.
Oh, my God. Like, that's the funniest thing. Like, especially baby boomers. You know, I don't want to get too generational, but they had this inability to let a joke go. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
These jokes go on forever and ever. I watched this interesting video on YouTube about, just like kind of to cut it short, some thing went viral. This guy posted on a Facebook page of Cracker Barrel, which is a fast food restaurant in the US.
Okay.
His like wife had been fired on his birthday, and he's like, "Why had my wife been fired?" Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And it kind of went viral just because it was a bit aggressive and a bit funny, and this was obviously a not super socially inept, like social media inept guy posted on it.
So he was inept at social media.
Yeah, so he just posted and nothing came of it, but it really picked up. And then people started really, over the course of the next month, it became a proper meme. People kept posting on the Cracker Barrel social media sites, what happened to Barry's wife? Why did you let go? But this thing took off, and it kind of got into that Facebook realm of now everyone knows it. And we're here 2 years on from this meme, and people still post about it.
Yeah, well, I haven't even come across this.
I hadn't heard about it either, but it's just this like inability to let go of crappy jokes.
Facebook, man. Facebook is this weird,
cancerous.
You're not seeing the best. You're kind of just seeing the average stuff that surrounds you, like the people that you know. Whereas on Reddit, you see like supposedly the best or the most upvoted posts.
Definitely.
In that subreddit.
Now, look, Reddit's not as popular in Australia, but it's really popular in the US. And we talked about this briefly last time. So the best bit about Reddit is it can be quite segregated in the sense that you want your topic and it's not big. It's not as abused and like crappy jokes. And, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's always super interesting in the sense that you can look at the top ones where 20 million subscribers and it's just crap. It's just absolute crap.
Yeah.
Where you go,
Our Funny's not very good these days. We already talked about that, I suppose.
We won't rehash, but you know.
Our Comedy Heaven. I don't know. Have you seen Our Comedy Heaven?
I haven't, please.
Because that is really, if you like to laugh at people's like really bad memes that they post on Facebook, Our Comedy Heaven is where those memes find a new life.
I love Comedy Century. No, sorry, Comedy Cemetery. Sorry, man, I'm losing it.
Oh yeah, Comedy Cemetery is that, right?
Yeah, very similar in the sense that it's just
dead memes.
Not even dead memes, just like
the
absolute.
Worst. Okay, so Our Comedy Heaven is kind of like that escalated.
Yeah, of course.
Where the posts, you don't really know if it's something someone actually made unironically or if it is this weird ironic mess of a meme.
Yeah.
It's kind of more esoteric than Comedy Cemetery.
Reddit gets like that though. They get so self-referential, it just escalates. So you've got Comedy Cemetery. I keep saying Century. Comedy Cemetery, Comedy Heaven, Comedy Hell. Like it just gets so on itself.
Yeah.
So almost was, but I kind of like Comedy Cemetery because it's just like the purity of people with really bad memes and really, really, really bad jokes. I was over at your house when I discovered it, and I sat there for an hour laughing at these bad memes and jokes.
Was that back in high school?
No, maybe we were at your mum's house. Actually.
My mum's house. Okay.
And I showed you, and you just didn't like. I was in that
headspace
headspace of like, this is awfully funny, and I showed you, and you were like, "What are you doing, dude?" You just look like you're an idiot. Like you're an absolute idiot. Which
I don't know if Comedy Cemetery does much for me.
Okay,
but I know that Comedy Heaven does because it's just, my sense of humor is more absurd.
Yeah,
it's got to be like quite wacky. It's got to like things that really make me laugh are the unexpected. Like I go back, I watch Futurama. The jokes that don't make me laugh are the ones that I expect. And a really typical thing they do is just irony. Like it's mostly just ironic jokes where someone will say, "Oh, you should never be rude to someone." Turn to Leela and say, "Screw you." Like, that does nothing for me.
But I think those filler jokes. You know what I mean? Like when you're trying to get that joke per minute.
I think they just haven't aged as well. Okay. I don't think that was as common a joke format to just pump out before Futurama. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But kind of in retrospect, those jokes do nothing for me. It's the ones where like Zoidberg says something that you just can't believe he said it, and it doesn't even make sense.
Right.
And you just...
the absurdity of it.
Lose it. Yeah, absurdity is...
That's why Zach Brannigan is easily one of the best characters.
Yeah. And he's also a satire
100%
of Captain Kirk.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we were joking about the Champagan. You were right. We talked about this.
Oh.
You were right. It was Champagan, not Champagne.
I win. It's Champagan.
I was so convinced he said in the episode it was Champagne, but it was Champagan. So I have for years referred to champagne as Champagne.
It's funny because I gave that one up quite easily. I kind of just went, "Oh yeah, I'm sure it's Champagne," but I don't know. I'm really proud of myself to find out. Oh, the battery's gone flat. Okay, well, our video's gone flat, but, what can you do? We're primarily an audio show anyway.
We are on radio, so I guess it's somewhat irrelevant, but...
Yeah. Look, we'll get the YouTube game sorted. This is all about practice. One day we will be Joe Rogan. We will film it perfectly. We'll live stream it, and it's just going to go...
We're going to do young Jamie. We need a producer who we can.
Jamie, can you pull that up?
So, what about this ape? No, he always talks about. Anyway, irrelevant. It's a learning process, right? This is show number 2. Well, we had
3.
Okay, we got Monday as well, which almost in my head for me as
Doesn't
a guest was a demo show.
It's all right. It's pretty good.
It's good.
It's not as good as episode 1.
No, I'm already enjoying this episode much more than Monday. I already think this is way better.
Do you think that's because you've been lubricated?
I've had a few drinks. It's the afternoon. I didn't do an hour drive, like wake up, hour drive, get here.
We also don't condone drinking here on Radio Blue Mountains 89.1 FM.
Don't smoke anything. Just be healthy. That's the one message.
Anything.
What could you smoke that's good for you?
Don't smoke anything. If it's something you can think, don't smoke it.
Exactly right. What can you think, huh?
You can think, why am I here? What's this all about?
Do you ever get those existential thoughts?
I do,
mate.
I haven't had them much lately, but I go through weird phases. You know what I'm like. I'll go through a phase where I'm just like, why am I alive? I think it was more before the radio show, actually.
Okay.
I just had... I was doing my MMA every day at this point, but that just wasn't quite enough. And I've gone through phases of kind of convincing myself that my music is going to be my thing, and that's the dream, and that's the focus. But I've kind of fallen out of that lately. I don't know if... I've recently actually started singing lessons and guitar lessons.
That's good, man.
And I think...
We ran into your singing teacher busking the other day, didn't we?
My guitar teacher. I've kind of, what's it called? I think it's the Kluger effect. I've kind of, you learn some and then you realize how inadequate you are.
Right.
And I think at one point in my life I was certain that I will be like a famous rock /pop /hip hop star. Like,
No, dude, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm happy to say it. Now I'm just, I don't think life is quite that simple.
No, it definitely is not.
Yeah.
Well, personally, I find comfort in the nothingness of the universe, if we want to get deep about it.
Wow.
I don't know. I've got that nihilistic attitude towards life.
But why do anything? Like, why not just masturbate and play video games?
Because I get bored. I anything that's enjoy. I have almost a short attention span, but I need to keep mentally stimulated. So playing video games, watching movies, I need to change it up.
Yeah, okay.
So it's totally just like whatever makes me happy, and I'm on that quest to make me happy. I am happy right now. Like, don't get me wrong. I am happy, but
yeah,
I do get, like, that is just the drive. I want to make me happy and the people that matter to me happy. And that's all that matters to me.
That's nice.
But that's the nihilistic attitude in driving that. Like, that's all that matters.
To me, that doesn't... I guess it's like, oh, we're only going to be alive for 80, 90, 100 years.
Yeah, whatever.
But so we may as well just have a good time.
Exactly.
In our
no
blink
matter
of
really,
existence.
it doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. And nothing you do matters. But that's comforting almost to me.
But I can't agree with that because you'd like be... Well, you're quite successful. You're 20 years old and you have this full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
You're already kind of climbing the ladder.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
That's got to feel better than if you did. Like, if you didn't have a job, if you didn't have any kind of passion, you wouldn't be as happy.
100%. 100%. I've been very lucky in that luck, whatever luck is, but I do all right in that regard. And that's
so I think something drives that other than pure nihilism. Because if you're purely nihilistic, you'd probably just be on Centrelink getting whatever drugs and alcohol you
I'd
can
just
afford.
be bored, but I'd be so bored,
I don't know. Off your Centrelink, you could probably afford the occasional music festival.
Yeah, maybe.
The occasional... you just
Case of
go
beer,
out, drink,
Yeah, I don't know.
do drugs.
I don't know. Look, honestly, it's just this... I guess I just don't care. I get this very not care attitude, but it's very selfish in the sense that I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. And the people...
I think we're all in that boat, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's easier... Like, you can't make someone else happy. That's
Exactly
a
right.
never-ending battle,
Exactly.
I think.
Exactly. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make a drink, right?
That's right.
So
That's exactly right.
I watched do you know that YouTube channel? It's German, Kurzlegeit or something.
Never heard of it.
We'll show you right after this. You will love it. They're really like a quick 10-minute video on philosophy and generalized theory on whatever, whether it be renewable energy, nihilism.
Sure, okay.
It's and really well animated. I'm awful at this. I always bring up something that not knowing the name of it.
Yeah.
But I'll show you after, Jarrod. You'll really enjoy it. But they had this great video on like almost optimistic nihilism that I think I really...
Optimistic nihilism?
I don't know if that's what the official name is, but I think I vibed quite hard with that.
I mean, because I was a nihilist until fairly recently, and that was pretty much my attitude. Like, we are just all going to die, so we may as well have a good time.
That's very much my attitude now, though.
Yeah.
But my good time doesn't have to be the same as someone else's good time.
Have you checked out Jordan Peterson?
I've heard of Jarrod Peterson. I haven't really.
He that's what changed it for me, because
Yeah.
I was just a nihilist. But he has such, philosophical and psychological ideas that are so... It's funny because I just never thought any of that stuff was so solid, but it feels like his ideas are founded on such solid ground.
Right.
That for me, it really means a lot.
Okay. I'll give him a listen. What's the best avenue to give El Jordo a listen?
Well, funnily enough, some of his most interesting stuff is actually lectures he does about the Bible in actually understanding the biblical stories. And I don't believe this stuff happened.
Yeah.
Actually, his interpretation is kind of the ultimate way of interpreting the myth. Like, in the way that someone will interpret a film and go like, well, this means this, and this is kind of the theme and the point of the film. He does that with the Bible, and it's just like infinitely complex and dense. And I'd say it's absolutely worth checking out.
Does he touch on the fact that we really might have lost a lot of it into translation?
He absolutely does,
Okay.
yeah. He reads multiple translations and really struggles with, trying to get whatever the true meaning is meant to be.
Okay, I'll definitely give it a listen then.
Yeah.
Not even just to challenge myself, just because it might be interesting. You know?
And an example of that would be he talks about there's the saying in the Bible, the meek shall inherit the earth. Now we understand like meek means sort of almost weak, kind of shy, kind of, but through his research and the translations he's looked at, he believes it's something more along the lines of those who have weapons and keep them sheathed, like those who are strong and able to kind of take control and sort of do whatever they want, but, choose to not harm anyone or force things.
Okay, interesting.
Will inherit the earth.
Interesting.
And that, to me, is much more profound.
Okay, I mean, look, I'm obviously not grasping the profanity of it. Profanity?
Profundity.
Profundity of it. Of a second-hand explanation.
Sure, yeah, you got to check him out. Like, I always try to explain his
You can never
teachings,
explain that, right?
and it's never on his level.
Yeah, of course. That's why
and also he makes that statement within a much broader context.
Of course. I will definitely give it a listen, you know. I mean, do you find you listen to... How much music do you listen to?
Not much these days.
100%. I don't. Yeah. I want to, but I've
started putting on my own music when I play Forza.
Okay, cool. Because Forza's easy to do that too. Because
I find the Forza radio not that great. I was really hoping to have like a cyberpunk radio station.
There's just not enough songs.
I want to listen to like cyberpunk vaporwave music when I drive.
What's the gold standard for video game radio? There's only one right answer.
Grand Theft Auto.
Which one? Is it okay? This one isn't there a right answer, but this is up to personal preference.
There's so much nostalgia for me for Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yeah.
But even San Andreas.
Yeah. Great hip hop. Great 90s hip hop from San Andreas.
I wasn't even into hip hop when I played San Andreas. The Rock.
Okay.
The Rock on Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is phenomenal.
See.
But I think it's easier when the game is set in the past. I think when we talked about chicken glasses and rose-tinted glasses, you can cherry pick the best stuff from that era.
Of course.
And I'm sure, I don't know, maybe negotiating the rights for the songs is a bit cheaper when they're kind of out of the zeitgeist and a bit older. So I think with San Andreas, they had this amazing advantage of being able to cherry pick the songs from the era. And really even stuff before as well, because that would still be playing on the radio in the 90s.
See, personally, my favorite would be GTA 5. Now, I do love that game. I think it's a fantastic game. I think, ironically, the longevity of the game has diminished the
radio, right?
No, not necessarily the radio, just how people view the game. The online has definitely taken over. When you really you take it as a snapshot of that game when it came out, and it was really fantastic game, a truly fantastic game, and the longevity, which is
mostly impressive.
Definitely, definitely. I honestly, look, it's not. I truly reckon the story in Red Dead was better. We can get into that later, but
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, but
that game really feels like Rockstar. I haven't finished it or anything. It feels like Rockstar really hitting their stride as writers and storytellers.
Look, it's quite linear, especially compared to the old GTA. But I feel like people just want that game to be rootin' tootin' cowboy shooting GTA. You know what I mean?
But it's kind of that in the open world.
But you've got to remove it from that, because that's not what the story is. The story is way more linear, way more cinematic than GTA. GTA, for me, feels like GTA 5, I should say, is a less...
Well, GTA has always been sort of rock up at the letter on the map, and some crazy stuff's going down. Hey, the drug dealers are here. Let's shoot them. You get in the cars, you shoot and kill the drug dealers.
I don't know, but the story hasn't just been that groundbreaking or that it hasn't been that emotion filled. Whereas for me, Red Dead Redemption 2 is more linear, but in that sense, it tells that story. It's a heavier story. It's
more like a Naughty Dog or something kind of game.
Yeah, exactly. But for them, it felt like more of a storytelling experience. Whereas GTA was like, look at all this crazy stuff you can do. Look at how wild this game can be with a decent story. I shouldn't say decent, with a good story.
But I think for Red Dead, that makes more sense.
100%
Red Dead, you're not getting in cars and shooting rocket launchers. You have to offer something unique and different to Grand Theft Auto, because you don't want to be comparing those games directly.
You shouldn't, and people do, and that's the downfall of not that Red Dead Redemption 2 has bad reviews, but that's the downfall for a lot of people. Is I talked to a friend the other day, and he was like, I didn't vibe with it.
Well, it's sold like crazy. Not as well as Grand Theft Auto 5,
and
but
it never will. But
there were lines out the door when I went to JB Hi-Fi on that midnight release, and I was kind of surprised because to me, Red Dead felt like this more niche thing in comparison to Grand Theft Auto.
I found the opposite. I found it was huge.
The first Red Dead?
Yep.
Well, it's one of those games where the critical acclaim was through the roof.
Yep.
So, I mean, people follow on that. But, you know, the sort of the love at the launch of at Red Dead 2 was kind of just this reminder that, oh, wow, Red Dead is almost like really close to being as big as Grand Theft Auto.
Well, honestly, I think one of the masterful parts of that game, and maybe it was just good timing for me, but when I really got my head around the detail in that game, when I say the detail, the taming your horse, whatever, you know, like the real finite details of what you've got to manage.
Especially the hunting system.
Right. When you get your head around that is when the story really picks up and when you really fall in love with these characters and their motives and you understand it and you're
their
like
flaws.
Exactly. And you're along with this journey and you just pulled in. I was pulled so in, and I went through a period where I couldn't play it for a week, and I just kind of was like in and out of it, enjoying it, no doubt. But then I just got to this story piece, and I'm just like, I need to know, I need to experience the outcomes. And I mean, it's a bit sad that I can't discuss it with you yet, and I obviously will not spoil it for you. But I know when you finish it, we have a lot to talk about.
We'll do a Red Dead spoiler cast.
We'll do it because I can talk.
Well, that motivates me to finish it because I've not been playing it lately. Honestly, as soon as I got Pokemon Let's Go, I just got addicted to that.
Yeah,
I've just been playing that like crazy. Recently, just started. I think last night started playing Halo again because I've got my Xbox One X, and I was just like, oh yeah, I've got the Master Chief Collection. I should play some Halo. Right. And I also just got into Forza. It's like too many games have sort of fallen onto my plate.
I avoid that like the plague because I don't play games nearly as much as I used to, but I cherry pick the games that I want to get into. So Forza right now happened to be the one that I'm into. Yeah. Horizon, which we should make a specific difference. Forza Horizon,
absolutely,
which is the free roam version of Forza Motorsport, which is more of a racing simulator.
Yeah.
I've been playing that. I'm a huge car fan. I'm a huge car fan. As long as I can remember, I'm sure you can vouch for that. So, you know.
I got to say, I don't really understand because you were into cars before you could drive a car.
Yep.
And plenty of kids were like that. And I just don't understand that. Like, I wasn't even really into cars when I got my car. But it's only really recently that I've started, you know, driving it for pleasure. And I feel like I'm starting to understand it. To me, it doesn't... Like, to me, the driving comes first and the love comes after.
For me, I look at initially the design of a car, right? That's a piece of art.
Yeah, you can appreciate that.
It's a piece of art. Honestly, these designs of cars are art and nothing less, right? And then you look at performance and then you look at the engineering level. So you break it down. You look at the art, the design, the engineering behind these cars. And then it comes, then you break it down even smaller. You know, look at the interior. You look at the way they've designed this, and that. And I don't know, I just can fall in love with that piece of just like hyper engineering. Like this car can go 420 k's an hour. Like that's ballistic. And that impressed me. And then the look of this car is very cool.
But I guess I'm just surprised that you cared sort of beyond that visual level before driving.
Yeah. And I'm sure
and plenty of people are that way. Like I know people that that could get their license, haven't bothered, and love cars, and will talk about cars.
That to me doesn't make sense. Like I'm not saying I got my license immediately, but I have my license, and I can. You there's a new level of appreciation when you really do drive all the time.
A car,
it's almost the flip side for you because you drive and then you understood cars a bit more and you enjoyed it a bit more. So
I just think I didn't really care before I drove. It wasn't my thing.
Right.
I don't know what got you into cars.
Design.
Like you just saw pictures of cars and you were just like, whoa, look at this thing.
Definitely.
Wow. Was that sort of fostered by your dad or an uncle or anything that kind of...
Dad always liked cars and we always got along. Like, I mean, that was always something we could talk about, but not to the level I did.
Yeah. Okay.
But then I always go, how cool is this? And he'd go, that is so cool. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, okay.
You know, so there was that as well.
Because my dad's definitely more into cars than me and will tell me things about cars where I go, oh, wow, I didn't know, you know.
I think you know,
like the Ford
had
Focus RS,
and stuff.
I didn't know that was like a
very cool and hip
impressive car.
hatchback.
To me, I just think Ford Focus, gross.
A lot of people, that's the biggest problem with car fans right now is they just go, Ford, bad. Or you know what I mean?
I wouldn't say forward bad, but I'd say
but
focus bad.
Yeah, I used to be like that, where you get into these like niches, like sorry, not niches, but
But just these ideas.
Yeah,
That this car is a old lady hatchback.
And that's super, super common with the car culture. And car culture can be quite toxic in that level. Like, oh my God, you like Ferrari? Do you like why do you like Ferrari? Ferrari do this, this, and this. And
what is this and this and this?
I mean, we can get into it. But there's a lot of like rumors around Ferrari inflating numbers of the cars they produce.
Inflating numbers.
So the Ferrari, they say they produce
speed.
500. Maybe they produce 650. Maybe they produce 700. I don't care about that because I don't own one. But to owners, this is like I thought I was one of 500, not one of 650.
Well, I don't care about that.
Right, rich people problems. But also, they're very selective in who they sell their cars to. And like, oh my God.
There's a pretense there that I'm not
but they're very much like that.
a huge fan of. So who's messaging you right now doing our radio show?
Well, that would be my bank account telling me I've been paid.
Oh, so big Mr. Moneybag over here.
Someone transferred me $14.
You're a good boy. I just had to do that. I started doing my 1900s kind of, cowboy accent, and then I just had to go.
It's always entertaining.
Arthur Morgan. Yeah, boy.
Listen here, boy.
It's all right, boy.
Come on, boy.
He won the award for best voice performance.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
At the Video Game Awards that you didn't watch.
No, because they tell me not to vape.
They do tell you not to vape, Sam.
Who's Sam?
You're Sam. Maybe you shouldn't vape. Did you ever think about not vaping or smoking? Did you ever consider that for your health?
I don't vape or smoke because the Video Game Awards told me not to.
Well, that's not what I've been seeing, boy.
There's no camera here. I don't know what you're talking about.
There was a camera running before, and you were vaping like it was going out of style. Come on, boy. Are you done?
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Alrighty, well that's 2 hours.
I think we did pretty well for that.
Yeah, thanks.
All
you
right.
did well too.
Dude, you kicked ass as usual, Jazza.
Oh, touching.
Huh? You're built for this. You're built for this.
Oh, that's very good to hear.
Like physically built for this. Like someone put you together to host a radio show / podcast.
No one's ever referred to me as being built.
Well, it's a first for everything, isn't it?
I didn't think you were a creationist.
I'm 100% creationist.
Oh, really?
Yep.
How old is the Earth?
2018 years old.
Whoa.
Exclusively.
So you believe the Earth didn't exist before Jesus arrived?
No. Nothing.
So
we're a New Testament exclusively.
That doesn't work.
Don't question my beliefs.
New Testament exclusively. So nothing existed, and then suddenly there was like Israel and Bethlehem and Joseph and Mary just popped into existence.
Yes, exactly. Are you questioning my beliefs, Jarrod?
I believe I am questioning your beliefs.
I find that deeply offensive. We live in a free society.
Yeah, but your beliefs make less sense than any beliefs I've heard. Are you flat Earth as well?
No, the Earth is a cube, obviously.
Cube Earth.
If you think the Earth is flat, there's something wrong with you. We're clearly in a cube. Have you seen the way that the cube rotates through the space-time continuum?
I think you've been playing too much Minecraft. 89.1 FM, Radio Blue Mountains. I'm Jarrod Hurdle. You've been listening to me talking to Sam Porter. It's been a wonderful evening, and I'm just so glad to share it with you all.
Thank you very much.
Check out the Peep's Got a Peep Facebook page, the Peep's Got a Peep Instagram, the Peep YouTube channel, and check out the PeePcast on iTunes.
Well.
Love you all.